Melbourne's a long way back.
Well, it's that showpiece occasion that North Melbourne have wanted. They want to own it. Trouble is, they haven't had any success on it. Last 5 times they've been on the receiving end of sizable defeats. So they get an opportunity today, as you mentioned, against a team that is beatable as far as the form that we've seen in 2025.
So it's a day for the kids, but it's a massive occasion, particularly for North Melbourne as they host Carlton on this Good Friday affair. The Super Clash is underway. The two monsters in the middle will be pivotal. TDK and the Big X. Tristan Cherry. And here's his bolt to advantage. He does that time. North, their full contingent of young midfielders together, and Sheasel in his 50th has the first kick. Sard on duty. McGovern. There's a battery of Blues off halfback. Can they launch? Chera to Hewitt, who's probably leading Carlton's best and fairest at this stage. Surprisingly ahead of this man, the captain. 3 last week. He's playing a more prominent forward role, and didn't they do that easily?
Well, they did, and he's probably close enough as Paddy Cripps points to the goals.
He rarely waits when he's 50 out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I think he rushes it at times. He covers that journey so easily. He doesn't need to go so quickly. Just take your time and get yourself aligned exactly how you want.
Smart play from Cripps. Get Curnow into the game as early as you can.
Caleb Daniel to bring the ball back into play. Chooses the outer side and pinpoints his pass for Comben. North look to build up the line. Larkin, Darling are both there. Darling got good purchase, couldn't hang on. Silvani underneath. Released Ollie Hollands and McGovern gets himself involved. Cripps again on the bounce. Sharp hand pass to Cottrell. Carlton build well. Inside the forward 50 it goes. It's well marked by Comben though. He's having a terrific intercept season already.
You feel he's going to get plenty of those opportunities. He's always great for the confidence to win that early one-on-one.
There's a little bit of question about the kick, but it got safely to Tucker, who gets involved again via Powell, liking well up the ground. The lurch from Wiedering, what a contest. Simpkin, North not stopping. Larky couldn't get past Haynes. Didn't lose his head or possession for his team. So the captain of the Roos kicks to Curtis, who popped up and took a long time to complete the mail.
Well, that's the role for Larky. Get Wiedering up the ground, open up the defensive 50 to lesser-ranked defenders. And this man is having some sort of season, Paul Curtis.
12 goals for in his 5 games, multiples in every game so far.
Trouble is the 2 or 3 fumbles cost him any angle he had to kick the goal. It took him right to the boundary.
Maybe, just maybe, Jace. The harder the task, the more satisfying it is. North strike first.
Well, Jace, this is going to sound weird, but of the top 40 targets in the competition, he's the #1 ranked player in the AFL for getting a goal from those targeted entries. He's having a season that if he gets a mismatch, he cashes in. If you give him a metre, he makes it 5 in a hurry. The improvement of this guy is phenomenal. Last year ranked just inside the top 300 players, right now inside the top 70. That's a big jump for this calibre of player.
It is. It's also symptomatic of North, isn't it? They are very good at scoring once they get it inside 50. They just need to get it there more often and create these opportunities because they open up the forward 50 and then there's space everywhere. They had a couple. They could have raffled it there. So great start for North.
He's a little ripper. The way he's played his season so far. So North draw first blood coming through. Hewitt shares it with Cripps and back to Hewitt. Plot the path forward. It's a short pass to Durden, coming off a career best day. Hewitt kept on coming. He'll be the deliverer inside 50 and Curnow's on the lead. He hangs on. Late pressure from Core. Couldn't affect the contest.
It's going to be a big job for Aiden Core. I just get the feeling that Charlie fancies this. Yeah, it was going to have him for speed. Was that a crossover?
It was, yeah. He had Logue early, but that's the beauty of these forwards. They're able to mix and match. You see there in the goal square, Logue's got him, and a little check block. Good teamwork.
14 goals in his past 3 against this opponent, Charlie Curnow, to match the efforts of Paul Curtis at the other end. Curnow, brilliant. He needs a big day. So the set shot kicking right from the top shelf early.
And that's what I would argue he could have done from even just outside 50 with his first kick. But he feels the need to get that big leg around the corner to cover the extra journey. But he's a beautiful kick of the footy. He times it so well. You can see there, Kingy pointed it out well. Just some good interference on Griffin Logue. Bit of interference run there beautifully by Zach Williams, and it opens up the channel for Curnow to lead into it. Gorgeous doesn't have the pace to go with him.
2 goals for last week, Charlie. So that's a confidence builder after missing the first. The sweat and the passion losing out of Charlie Curnow, as it so often does. Old and young Carlton fans with their delight. De Koning with the tap over the top, and now the follow-up. The ball found him. Panic. Saar, can he launch off the wing? The Kircher slowed his progress. Chera with the kick towards Young and Curnow. He slipped to the front, and then the ball slips out of his hands. So Caleb Daniel over get things started. Ruse out of defence. Zerha waited. It was a good call as McGovern overplayed his hand. So Caleb Daniel now to set things up. And it's a reasonably aggressive kick to McKercher.
Paid the mark. So Kircher can set North up. Davey Zuniac tumbles over in the middle of the ground. Durden was the closest man to him. Up he gets, dusts himself off, has to go quickly. Daniel directs so much of the play for North out of halfback. Logue and the full switch for Core. Powell runs on up ahead. O'Sullivan makes space. None really to the liking of the kicker. So longer Core goes. Larkey drew the footy and he drew Weeder in every step of the way.
Carlton did well, just matched up those short targets, forced them long down the line, and that's right in the Jacob Weitering sweet spot, that is.
Subs today, Dersma and Lord for their respective teams. Lord for a third time this year for the Blues. Dersma, despite kicking 2 goals last week for North Melbourne. Sherry with first hands, and then the big tackle. Sure exactly where the ball was. She's allowed to Daniel again, getting well up the ground, trying to create. That time Simpkin shut down by Saar, allows Hewitt, and then Cottrell. So far so good. Awkward for Young. He has Motlop. Got there, but set him up really for the tackle and the turnover. LDU flicking the hand pass into Simpkin and Sheasel. Daniel getting the ball regularly so far. Davies Uniac misfires. Haynes.
Both teams desperate to get through the middle of the ground, but you can just see the saturation and numbers, so it's turnover city here at the moment.
Akers presents on the wing. They are well matched up ahead, so short goes the pass on Hollins.
Charlie Curnow's got a ton of space.
That's the ultra-aggressive kick. The ruckman went to work and Sherry won it underneath. Sent Sheasel on his way. Puts it out in front of Zerha. You know he'd like to. He ran into a dead end. Got out of it. He's a hard man to bring down in an alley. Out in front of Curtis. He'll bash it on. Didn't quite get enough on it for Larkey initially. Can he get a boot to it? Not to be. And the moment expires for North. It was gilt-edged.
It's been the story of the year, really. Just lacking a little bit of polish there, Zerha. They did all the hard work. Had the target out in Curtis. Just needed the softest of kicks.
Seen a corridor turnover from both teams. It was LDU for North and then Hollins for Carlton, but neither team able to punish them on the turnover.
All the way out, Saad. And then Cottrell. So to halfback and then down the line. And a couple of the targets come to crash the pack. Through to Hollins. Young was able to take it away. Got the handball back to Young. So unscientific, but the territory taker. Curnow and Core. Mind working overtime. Curnow got it somehow. And the crowd was just electrified for a moment as they thought that had gone through.
Didn't get an opportunity to have a look, Curnow. Blake Akers all on his own in the goal square. But no fault of Curnow's there. He just had to get the snap in when he could.
He spends a lot of time all on his own in the goal square. Okay, because I don't know how he does
the
it.
ground.
Curnow's got their whole score at the moment.
Well, he's choosing his matchup at the moment as to where he starts. Core going with him more often than not. They want that to be low.
Sullivan, not a great kick. Silvani was always favoured in flights. Good place for a turnover. Silvani's going to wind it up and give them a look. He tried for Motlop. He was overmatched. Davies Uniac, Sheasel, Combin. Out the side it goes for Tucker. Need to be sure-handed. Cottrell did the business. Put it right in dispute. Caller slapped it around. Motlop's got a hunger for it. And he'll get the free kick for high.
Doesn't look like he agrees. Harry Sheasel is having a look at the big screen. Can't afford to give away shots at goal from a position like that. It looked like they had the ball under control. Wasn't going to go anywhere.
A couple of goalless games for Jesse Motlop. In fact, 2 goals, 8 in his work so far this season. It's a testing shot, as you can see. Motlop right to the square to get after. Sherry the big fists. Didn't get it all the way. Great pressure. Durden bobs up in game 50 and picks up where he left off last week. A live wire forward. The Blues extend the lead to 7.
It's what they've been lacking for quite some time, Kingy, is that small forward that can actually have the impact. He kicked the 4 last week and he's got himself involved early. It's been very, very good.
Yeah, you love this. You love your power forward laying some pressure on him. A big tackle creates the soft drop spill for Durden. You see Kerner there, straight back engaged, causes a spill. Secondary opportunity inside your forward 50. Well done, big man.
Durden never kicked more than 2 goals before last week. 4-1 against the West Coast. Lively start at both ends of the ground. The Blues have the narrow advantage. Cripps having a rest back in the middle to Cody. Wardlaw. And the volume rises from the North fans as he's welcomed back. Turnover though, Welsh fresh for his best game numbers wise in a couple of years. Owens with the slider to his brother, who also returns. Cottrell knew when to turn, and a handball to Walsh. Good progression. Hewitt, he's got the one-on-one he craved. One of the ones was Kerner, the other was Lowe. And now they pounce on him and force the ball up.
See, that Cottrell hand pass shouldn't be understated. That was a blind hand pass. He just had to guess where he was going to be and waited. He's turning the wrong way. Can't see him. And puts it right on the money.
Blues forwards get lively at the stoppage. Shearer broke through. Caressed it at the teeth of goal. Near side.
Logue's done well with some standing one-on-ones with Charlie. You just like to see that match-up stick. The roll into call just doesn't suit the Kangaroos.
Fisher, the ex-Blue, back into play. Extends the kick almost to the wing, and now with the crumbs, it was threatening to get there, and it does. Wardlaw to Stevens. The ex-Swan squirming and handballing to the outside. Hollands, made a perfect turn. He just didn't count on the lack of traction. Now he makes his claim for holding the ball. Probably that's about the right result.
I reckon he's very lucky, Josh, because he dived on that. As soon as you saw it go to the ground, he dived on it. Great pick-up from Georgie Wardlaw.
Sherry straight to Walsh, and look at the big ruckman. Just envelops anyone. Opponent teammate gobbles them up. Blues lead by 8. The ruck wrestle again. This time it's a mismatch with strength. Wardlaw, he'll bring that heft and determination around the footy. Promising for the Kangaroos. Simpkin receiving from Tucker. Couldn't return it. So he goes on the retrieval mission again. Beaten by Chera. See the pressure, it's immense around the footy. Power just fired it out to Fisher. Even numbers in the air. Underneath Carlton have the extra, never arrived. Might not pay. Larkey squeezes out to Wardlaw on the follower. So hard to get a clean handball. Zaha manufactures a kick. Curtis! He was against 3. And he still took it.
What about Wardlaw at ground level?
His attack on the football is maniacal.
Yeah, and it's raising the bar.
How many efforts were there involved there?
And clean. Just have a look at him following up. Clean. At ground level, bang, in, swoop, grab the ball, drag 3 with him. Gets the hands out. Oh, this is a fantastic start from Gorgeous George.
He had 2 or 3 efforts just prior to that, 20 metres further afield.
Bit of pent-up frustration from being a late starter this season. And it's all resulted in Paul Curtis and North Melbourne's second goal. Kicked 3 in both games against Carlton last year, so he doesn't mind this fixture either, Paul Curtis. And as we said, Kingy and Jace, the first time we've seen the full contingent of North Melbourne midfielders together. So that is so exciting for North Melbourne.
It is. I just loved his effort at ground level. He was involved in just about everything. And then the quick kick goes forward. And this is okay. Nick Larkey shouldn't feel despondent that he's not getting the goals. He's making the contest that's bringing the ball to ground. But this guy here just refuses to be stopped or tackled. He's just crazy.
Sometimes you think you're playing tough and they bring someone in that goes that next level, Jace. You think, oh, I've got some room to grow. And I think LDU, Simpkin, the boys watching this, I think, okay, that's the standard.
4-week block of work to get back into the senior team of AFL game, and it's a match sim last week. Mr. Clarkson said he'll have to manage his minutes, but there'll be no managing his temperament when he's out there. Darling and Young, the understudies in the ruck. Young cleared the way. Chera's first access. Will he turn it into a clearance? Williams to lend a hand. They get out the front, the Blues. Chera inside the 50. Curno's drawing everything. Plenty of defenders as well. Comben clears the area for North. Huge leap. Constanti, no mark. Underneath. Sheasel uses Stevens. Wardlaw in a tight spot. Never took possession. Elijah Hollands tries to open the way for Young. Flopped the kick wide. And it should result in a turnover. Tucker is onto it. Core out the back. Red 2. Nothing really obvious to work with. So kick to the contest. Darling, big body, couldn't hang on. Wardlaw trundling through. Releases Curtis. Now 2 and 1 against. He's gone for Larkey anyway. He's well placed and he takes a beauty.
Gee, there's some great things happening for North at the moment. What Wardlaw is doing, and the players come from everywhere to mob him. He's running himself to a standstill. He's willing himself through a contest, and it doesn't matter how many are around him.
Larkey goes and misses.
Oh, boy.
Oh, chase, they rush.
And he just doesn't miss.
He's absolutely spent, George Wardlaw.
I love the kick from Curtis too. It was a 1-on-2, but it was to his advantage, Larkey.
Clear path on the way out from McGovern to Fogarty and ultimately Walsh. Cripps. This will be a tester. He gets a metre on Comben. Screws it back to the square. Awkward for White. Daniel there. Sends Fisher on his way. North coming again. Up to meet it. Zerha in the juggle in front of Silvani. Looks ahead, and the same odds are against Larkey, but in fact it was even more difficult because he was well behind Wiedering.
Interesting with Carlton. Cripper came off for a spell but didn't go back into the middle. He's the deepest forward now for Carlton playing.
That's a good point, Dick, and I think without Kemp and Mackay this week, he's a big part of their forward plans, is Patrick Cripps. Sard on the swing around through McGovern. Jeopardizes his teammates. That kick into the middle and a ball up is probably not a bad act.
He can't believe it. Nick Larkey, that's just bread and butter for him.
Despair in the stands. Darling takes the yardage up ahead. Kircher, Zerha both had bites at it. Zerha was desperate but took the legs of Silvani. They break to the wing. Shearer watches it come over his shoulder. Gets the bounce he was after. Misses his pass to Fogarty. Chopped away by Core. Wins the duel and North combine out of half-back. Tucker gives it away to Parker. Pulls it for McKercher. Made the assessment where the boundary was. Judged it well. McKercher's job to bring it inboards. Tucker's kept viable. Slips it to Parker. Up in the Larkey direction, he's got plenty of company. Couldn't make the contest this time, and Wiedering so graceful.
It's not going to be easy, is it, for Larkey to take marks with Jacob Wiedering back there. Such an accomplished defender, as Silvani has become in short period of time. To the wing, well weighted for Young. Well up the ground, off to Akers back in the team. Now Cripps is the deepest forward. He was just beyond the reach.
Charlie's by himself at the moment.
Fogarty is trying to connect with him, was all a bit too predictable. Sullivan, the youngster, who for periods of this game already has been matched up on Patrick Cripps. Not a bad experience for him in his 5th game. Off to Core. Not much emotion in the North Melbourne box at this stage, but some really promising moments. Sherry's claimed that, not pay. Sheasel got the hands clear sufficiently. Again, a fine turn from Fogarty, and then he realised there was so much in his path. Another ball up is the result.
Blues by points. Footy moving from end to end. Sherry soft hands. Wardlaw trying to bust through. Lost it. Walsh and Sard combined. Ball to open things up for Akers, and McGovern kept on coming. So to the run now of Carroll. He can steady himself and have a good look what's on offer, and steers the pass. Lovely Mark Durden. Got the ride. And is he in a vein of form?
Well, you mentioned his PB last week of 4 goals. That's a man with confidence. You just don't expect the small forwards to be flying like that. But he looked at the opportunity, he said, I'm just going to go for it. It's a brilliant mark, and he deserves to finish to kick his second.
Pick 37 in the 2020 draft. It's been a long journey to his 50th game. He can celebrate it with 2 goals in the opening term. Durden, true boots. He's doing the business for the Blues up front.
Well, their ability to fan the ball through the corridor is a concern at the moment. Carlton have done that 2 or 3 times, just taking the ball from wide, post turnover here. I mean, that's a really aggressive spot to be carrying the ball. Put the defenders under immediate pressure. It's a great mark, as you said, Jason, but the location of the kick was perfect for Fogarty. But Durden just dropped into his leading lane, which I know you forwards tend to hate.
And it was an interesting call from young Carroll, wasn't it? I mean, he ignored Curnow and Cripps and went to a more dangerous position, as it turned out. So the Blues managed to lead by 7 points. Blues have threatened when they have gone forward, but Carlton had the advantage. Cripps is back in the heart of the ground. Sheasel with the watching brief. Walsh with the Hollywood handball. Hewitt the perfect man to send Wardlaw to the turf and give him a little bit of extra. Chera with 9, the leading possession winner for Carlton, having a breather at the moment. Hewitt to Walsh. Back to Sard on a direct path to goal. Young is denied by Comben. Durden back to Young again, disrupted kick. Curnow versus 2. One of them was his ex-teammate in Fisher, and he collects him high. And the free is going North's way, but both enjoying a bit of a scrap after all of that.
Just an update down here. Mitch McGovern's gone down into the room, so hampered by right shoulder. So Doc's just checked him out here and taken him down.
Fisher against the old mob. These fans with long memories. Long down the line. Larky and Wiedering renew acquaintance and laying over the mountain. Blues have won their past 4 against the Kangas. North closest at their most recent encounter late last season. The turning came around. He might have given away the free kick. Sherry's ball to the smash and grab ruckman of the comp. Bit of history between the two of them as well. A little romper stomper at the end of last season when they last played. Kick in the Larky direction. Silvani worked him underneath. The umpire was satisfied with it.
It was a good hand in the back, wasn't it? But he probably just got pushed under it a little bit too easily, Nick Larky.
Silvani to kick down the wing. Comben had front position, didn't make much of it. Gives Young a fresh look. Dabbed it on well. Hewitt links it up. Blues in full flow. Walsh. Kick goals last week. Out to Cripps. Can he find the target? He's given it a look. Oh, that is something. Patrick Cripps with one of his finest.
Well, you be the judge, Jace. Did he mean this or not? I mean, it was a...
I think he was having the shot. I'm not quite sure he struck it perfectly, but it floated through. See, the great effort of Curnow to keep the ball in bounds. That released the runners, didn't it?
Walsh on the fly. Oh, he looks back. I mean, he had a complete fill-up last week. Yeah, that's a perfect strike. Lovely kick. Haven't seen him do that too regularly.
So watch Mitch McGovern here. This is the shoulder injury, I think.
was feeling it. Might have copped a knock to it earlier.
This good finish, Chase. I don't know whether he meant it early, but it's perfect.
He means it now.
He does. It went where it was meant to go. Put it that way.
And didn't the masses love it? 3 goals last week, and he's becoming an offensive threat as he was last year. Straight out of the middle. Motlop thriving in the middle of the ground, trying to put his best foot forward. Young dropped the football. Daniel has to defend here. Dragged it in. He's in massive trouble.
Well, you can hear the umpire saying he dragged it in. He didn't initially dive on it. He tried to pick it up. He was tackled. The ball spilled out, and then he found it right in front of himself, and he picked it up again. And that's where he gets pinged. How's it just a tap in the middle of the ground?
Yeah.
TDK to Motlop, and then it was nearly the perfect play where the Rover delivers to the leading key forward. Young just unable to hang on to it.
And every team's looking for something new, something different. And that's Motlop in at centre bounces. We saw it last week, in for 3. That was his first one there today. He come out at express speed and delivered a dart.
So Lewis Young made his name initially, of course, as a defender. He's had the pinch hit in the absence of Harry Mackay. Kicked a couple earlier in the season, and he kicks truly here, and suddenly Carlton put a gap into this game. Straight out of the middle and straight through for a goal. And the Blues 5-3-33. They've kicked the last 3 goals and led by 19 points.
And they're belting the clearance at the moment, Jason. That's the problem. And this is where the Kangaroos are strong in at centre bounces. But that, as you said, was a magnificent tap to the moving Motlop.
It's hard to criticise Caleb Daniel here. Gets tackling the balls, and the ball's right there in front of you. So not reach it, not grab it, is a very difficult thing to do, even though you've probably got no chance of getting rid of it once you do.
4-1 out of the middle in favour of the Blues. 9-4 total clearances. Carlton dominating.
Lewis Young, 3 goals in 8 seasons prior to this, and 3 goals this season so far. North have to respond to the early running. TDK edges it forwards. Cal had first access, didn't gather. Hewitt. Carlton coming forward with Menace. Out in front of Durden, overran it. Daniel stuck with it again. This time he dropped it. Umpire shows a little bit of mercy. Motlop had eyes. Not the way.
Back in that way. Back in that way. Thanks, Jesse. Tristan, time for the area.
Carlton, a relentless period of attack.
Clear out. Thank you, guys.
Sherian de Koning. Koning, lovely tap goal side to open up some possibilities, and Williams will finish the job. The Blues are on a heater in this opening term. 25-point margin. Williams' first goal in a few weeks.
I love the hit out. And just into space, get it going forward, charge onto it, just the momentum, the surge run, actually clears the pack and gets it to Young. Ball bobbles. Simple stuff, but create chaos in your forward 50 and good things happen. He's on top at the moment in the ruck to Koning.
Just reached in with the one arm. 84, you've got to commit to that one. But I love the pressure that Carlton are putting on in their forward 50 in particular.
Well, North have not won a first quarter so far this year. And that's not going to change today. So we have to hit on the back foot right from the start of each of their games. The response is needed quickly. Sherry's tap is read perfectly by Shera, who's leading the way out of the middle. Elijah Hollins tries to manufacture with determination. O'Sullivan, help from Daniel, and then to the outside. Davies Uniac, Cripps hanging on. Stevens the insurance. 15, Simpkin, nimble enough from the boundary. There's the no sanctuary in that case. He's not happy with the call.
Just constant pressure from the Blues. The quality of their tackling has been outstanding.
Hewitt and Chera with 10 disposals each. Hewitt's had 3 of those tackles we've talked about, 20-10 in the opening quarter. Domination around the stoppage. Sherritt's a wild handball, towed away by Cottrell. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt because it went to Cripps and then to Chera. Back through the middle, this is Carroll. He's got Akers coming down in that space, waiting out on the wing. He got a tough bounce. Pressure from McKercher, and then Stevens somehow gets it through to Hollins. needed absolute precision and he wasn't able to negotiate past Davies Uniacke as the Kangaroos are holding on here grimly with a minute to go in the opening term.
Well, Carlton continue to bring that ball back through the corridor. It's a poor
That's a
exit.
shocking kick. So straight to Cottrell, up to Williams. Possibilities abound. Kick wide of Motlop, not great. Throw it in.
I think he was just on a different wavelength to his teammate. I think it was Caleb Daniel he was looking for, but it went nowhere near him. Kick from LDU. So they've got a few issues at the moment, North. It's not controlling the footy when they get it. The pressure's been too intense. They continually turn it over.
It's clearance domination. The Blues have got to look at a forward 50 stoppage. Shoulder Coney's just too strong. Whack! TDK has his way with Sherry. It's his first goal of the season.
Paddy Cripps wants to have something to say too. He's being held back.
Yeah, and they're into Sherry. There's no doubt about that. There's no love lost between these two ruckmen. But this is a known product. These two ruckmen like to grab the ball rather than tap it. Sherry's done it 21 times this year, third most in the competition. And TDK, that's number 28. Number one ruckman in the competition for grabbing it out of the ruck. Don't get beaten by what you know. He's embarrassing him today in the ruck.
Good use of the body. Happy to let the big man play, show of strength. Just muscled him out of the way and then barreled it through.
He's done it 8 times now in the forward 50, TDK. You've got to be ready for that. You've got to be planned. You've got to get your positioning right. You get it wrong, you bleed a goal.
It means plenty to him. They've kicked the last 5. And there's still time. If they're perfect, to Koning. Curnow. Condon leaves it at the back. And the danger remains. And Williams. The appeals are made. And good.
Very lucky. Very lucky. If that's a tying to pick it up, I'll go easy.
Fairly guilty looking face too from Zach Williams. So surely now 13 seconds.
Yeah.
This North defence has to lock down.
I'll do it again, Hutto.
No.
How do you describe that as an attempt to pick it up?
Juliet. Parker, get out of there. An official left boot. Takes it to the boundary. What an assault in the last 10 minutes from Michael Voss and his Blues. They have dominated proceedings in the back half. This super clash from Marvel Stadium. They lead by 31 points. It's the start of a massive weekend of football here on Fox Footy. The end of the huge Geelong Hawthorn blockbuster Sunday at the MCG. NFL 360, Chris Scott will be...
All right, folks, welcome in. AFL game day again. Of course, Good Friday here in Australian Melbourne. Thought we were going to have a cracking game here. Carlton 7-3 though, 45, leading North Melbourne 2-2-14. Tell you what, North Melbourne came out of the gates well. Kicked the opening goal. They looked on song. Carlton were a little bit sloppy, a little bit slow. Looked like North Melbourne was going to take it right up to Carlton. But then all of a sudden, halfway through that first term, Carlton flicked the switch. Their pressure intensity lifted tenfold. They got their running game going, and then they just started to dominate this first quarter. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, they put the last 5 goals on in this match in pretty quick time. Carlton do look good. I was under the opinion, I thought North Melbourne actually could cause an upset in this game. Tell you what, I think I might have been wrong, what I've seen after quarter time, but knowing Carlton, we need to see it before we believe it. Can they continue this for the next 3 quarters? That's going to be the question, folks. Of course, we've got to welcome in a few people into the live chat. Of course, Adrian, Sports Karaoke, Channel 10, Bim Bim. Ryan, how you going, Squire? United GK, good to have you aboard. We are in for a fascinating game. I don't think the coach of North Melbourne looked too happy at the end of that quarter. But wow, he'll have a few words to say. They'll regroup, they'll regather themselves, and we'll see what happens for there. Let me just put this on. Let me just take off the ladder. Let me see where these two teams sit on the ladder. Let's search. They're down a little bit, aren't they? Carlton sitting in 14th spot prior to this game. Played 5. 1-1, lost 4, and of course North Melbourne are the same. It was only a percentage separating these two teams. If we turn the live ladder on, Carlton will jump up to 10th if they end up winning this, which is great for them. And of course, their percentage is boosting as well. All right, let's just go and have a quick look at the, because we didn't do this, at the ins and outs of both teams. George Wardle comes in, a big in for North Melbourne, going out Riley Hederman. And of course, Zane Dursman is the sub. Of course, milestone game. Harry Schneasel, 50th game there for North Melbourne. For the Blue Baggers, Elijah Hollands coming in with Lewis Young. Black Acres is coming in, going out with Sam Doherty, Harry Mackay, Brody Kemp, the sub Cooper Lord, and of course the milestones. 50th game for Corey Durden. There we go. We've got the out of Harry Mackay. I do like when there's only one big man, Charlie Curnow or Harry Mackay, in the team. I think they look a little bit better team when that happens. There we go. Quick look at the goal scorers before we get back for the second quarter. Boo Pies. I think Adrian just wanted to have another quick look, see who was on top of the ladder of the 2025 AFL Premiership season. And of course, it's the mighty Magpies, who absolutely demolished Brisbane yesterday. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Collingwood is flag favourites at this moment, folks. There we go. That's for Addy G. Go Pies. There we go. We've got a couple multiple goal scorers on the ground so far. Corey Durden, a couple there for North Melbourne. And of course, Paul Curtis there, a couple there for the Blue Baggers. I think I got the teams right. Yeah, Tom DeConing's Carlton, that's right. All right, other Carlton, that's it for North Melbourne. Just the one goal scorer, Paul Curtis with 2. Carlton, though, Corey Durden with 2. Lewis Young, Zach Williams, TDK, Tom DeConing, Charlie Curnow, Paddy Cripps, all single goal scorers there. A lot of, I tell you what, it's always great to see when you got plenty of goal scorers in for your team. George Hewitt, Adam Kehrer, though, tops the tables there for the Blue Baggers, both on 11 disposals. Ukanaki is the best for the Kangaroos with 10. There we go. Let's just roll down. Harry Sneasel there on 7. Mitch McGovern on 7. Sam Walsh, let's keep an eye on, see how he goes. Should be in for a big game. 7 so far. Let's keep rolling down. Who else have we got there for everyone to have a bit of a look? Paddy Cripps, there we go. Paddy Cripps. In about 3 kicks, 3 handballs, 6 disposals. Kicked a floater on his left foot from the boundary. It was an absolute ringer, ding goal straight through the sticks, through for a major. So it looks like Paddy Cripps is out there. He's having a bit of a smile, enjoying his game there today. Charlie Curnow hasn't had much of it. 3 possessions. He's had 3 kicks, 2 marks, 2 tackles. He's kicked 1 goal, 2. Not quite got his kicking boot on, but at least he's scoring from each kick that he is kicking. Go Flag Mantle. Santa All Flag Mantle. Let me just check and see when's your team playing Fremantle. I'm surprised they're not the last game of the round, but Fremantle, oh yes, that'll be a good test. It should be, I would assume, a big victory for Fremantle tomorrow, because they're playing Melbourne at the MCG, 1:20 Melbourne time, but Melbourne has definitely got something to prove. Fremantle have definitely got something to prove. See if they can actually perform on the biggest, the big ground, the MCG. All right, we are just about back and down and ready for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, folks. We're not too far away. Actually, you know what? Let's get back down there now. Umpire's blowing his whistle, about to bounce the ball. It's Carlton by 33.
The Rucks prepare to go at it again. Carlton by 31 points on a 5-goal run entering the second term. Sherry taps the ball to the advantage of Davies Uniac, so he gets to the business of starting to correct things at stoppage. Parker pops it over the top. McKercher looking for a target. He wanted Constanti. Akers did well. Larkey keeps it alive. It's still to be dealt with. Constanti barreled off it by Cripps. Oh, he meant that tackle. Wiedering on the way out. Curnow a long way up. North should have the numbers at the drop. Comben in the tackle of Young. He did well there, Lewis Young. Comben could have released that in 2 or 3 different directions. Instead, he dropped it cold. And Young redeployed as a forward. A chance to set the Blues up. Not much to look at. It's a well-structured ahead, and That's done no one any favours. Motlop! Oh, she got up there. Couldn't hang on. He gets to work underfoot. Ties it up.
Could have been mark of the year, except the fear of God went into him when he got up there.
Wow.
He got that push. He goes, oh, how am I going to land here?
It's been a few nominations this year, hasn't there, for the almost mark of the year. Free kick and advantage. Wardlaw wasn't waiting. He knew where Sheaves was, who identified Curtis, dangerous in the first quarter. A moment's hesitation, and then puts trust in Darling, but Wiedering was onto it too. Constanti gets there. McGovern seemed okay, cornered. Made it a pretty significant problem for Wiedering, who currently just puts it into reverse. And Molson returns it to the boundary umpire.
Ball's landing
They
here,
get ready
guys.
to go about their business again. Carlton dominating the disposals in their front half, as you'd expect in the first quarter. With so much edge around the clearance, and therefore the inside 50s. De Koning got to the front that time. Akers waved away the would-be pressure. Tough for Walsh. Speaking of tough, Parker. Awkward for Darling. Larky arrived and the bubbles around, just smouldering underneath there somewhere. Believe me.
Thanks, Nick.
And they'll have the ball up.
Thanks, boys. Easy. Back on this way, guys.
How precious a quick snap could be here. Sherry denied by TDK. Constanti was trying to kick it out of the air. Cripps to Akers. Up against the boundary, Walsh. To a contest, a one-on-one, Condon and Young. At the front, the Roos were well stocked. They're prepared to go back to McDonald, who has a piercing left boot.
He's going to give them a look at the top of the square. De Koning, Sherry with a late spoil. Curtis held up.
Just did what he needed to do, Tristan Sherry, and that is spoiled. Don't allow the intercept mark. Just set up for another stoppage.
The grapple. Sherry trying to return the favour, not to be. Carroll to clear for the Blues, but not for long. Condon's on the spot.
Need some science here, just not blasting to the top of the square. That's where Wiedering will just mop that up all day.
It's going to the top of the square, all right. Sherry, De Koning. De Koning's having his way with things. Oh, no, he's giving away the free kick.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think he expected it.
I'm not sure was it against him.
No, it's against Wiedering. 2 hands in the back. That's a good decision. That's too big a shove to be giving.
Yeah.
In fact, he shoved 2 blokes
Pushed 2
out.
players in the back. That's 2 free kicks.
Nick Larkey started with a couple of behinds, one that was inexplicable. To begin the climb back for North Melbourne, he's back on target. Larkey for his first, and that was utterly essential for the Kangas.
Well, it was. They had to respond early in the second term. They've got to get something to get a little bit of confidence in their methodology, just show that they can get some reward. And he, at times, it's not going to be pretty for Nick Larkey today. We know what sort of opponent Wiedering is, but he's just got to keep presenting, keep putting himself in the right position, and sometimes you get the benefit of a free kick like this.
Just don't see that, Jason.
It's two good shoves, isn't it? Wiedering, just clearing the way.
Haven't seen him do that for 2 years. But again, lock the ball in your forward half, start to win some clearance, turn the tide, see if you can find your way back into the game, just slowly chip away at this 25-point margin.
Buckman coming at it from different angles. Sherry invading the space.
Kick in, Carlton kicking in danger. Straight to
Danger,
it.
Hewitt's ball. Dominant in the first quarter, his 12th disposal. Kerno's just in a holding pattern at the moment. Will almost be within reach of the Hewitt kick. He leaves it for Cripps to fly. Logan left Kerno. This is White, who kicked his first AFL goal and his 6th attempt last week after a couple of matches. Wardlaw to the inside, all sorts of danger about that. Cripps to Motlop. Wardlaw left it behind initially. Charges after it, bullet a gate. It's a wobbly number back to the middle. Wiedering to Sard. He didn't waste any time. High ball. Hollands came late to it. Couldn't get over the top of McDonald. Fogarty. Akers has the habit. Sneaking in. Curnow. Strong in the air. Brilliant underneath until McDonald latched on high. It's a free kick to Charlie right in front of goal.
Well, he's missed a bit of footy, Wardlaw, so you can expect him to be a little bit scrappy. He's finding the ball on the deck, but his kicking is a bit haphazard.
Charlie has to wait this time. He's going to snap around the corner and put through his second goal. Carlton quickly answer. And it's their game at the moment to the tune of 31 points.
North fans, I don't think agree with the decision. The high tackle, he should have been tackling goals. Opportunity was there to get him. He ducks down and the tackle slides over the top as the ball comes out. You're paying that decision, King?
Let's see a good view of it here. Well, he could have stuck the tackle.
He should have stuck the tackle.
He could have done a better job of it. He left it in a bit of grey area.
Motlop getting some treatment from that other incident too. Down below us.
Back to 31 points. Simpkin and Cripps were very much engaged. Blues get it forward from the ruck contest. Cut off by Fisher. Davies Uniac was caught napping, stripped of the footy. Shearer inside. Curnow unstoppable.
That's the kick.
Beautiful kick, isn't it? I think he nearly spilled it. He nearly slipped all the way through, Charlie, but leads straight up the corridor and you get a pure kick like that. He gets the chance to kick two in the space of 30 seconds.
Got left from the gates this season, Charlie Curnow. Late summer surgery, slow to begin. Would love a bag of goals to really get into the season. 2-2 so far. Curnow stays the wrong side of the ledger. He's kicked 2 goals, 3, and it's a 32-point margin.
I love the rundown chase of White on Davies Uniac, created the soft spill.
There's the repairs to Motlop. It's on the bounce, making things more difficult than it needed to be. Tidy enough, McDonald. Fisher's kick in a rush. The Blues are well stocked. Hollins with the dash. Back to Wiedering again. And has a number inside, tidied up by McDonald.
A bit sloppy with their exits from the defensive 50 North. A little bit of composure.
That was only just the required. Power back to Daniel. Safely to Stevens. This is looking better. O'Sullivan now Stevens forward of centre. And the opportunities are there for to play. Zerha thumps it deep. Darling. And McGovern gets back with the help of Silvani to get it to safety.
Jesse Motlop just came off on that incident. It was a dislocated finger, so he's just getting that assess and tape up now on the bench.
Thank you, Ed. Margin still 32. Where's the North goal going to come from, if it is? Sherry looking for the opportunity to return the favour in the same spot as De Koning.
North have just had no answers in terms of the possession, so no free possessions out here. Carlton just turning up the heat, hot potato all around the ground.
Starling back in the goal square with Silvani. Larkey standing 30 metres out. Stevens tackled immediately by Akers. They're away forward for Sheasel in his 50th. Davies Uniac, the move looked so impressive, but he left the ball behind, and the Blues are able to deny them again and start to think about an aggressive move forward if they can get it clear, and they can.
Elijah Hollins fed it on to Cripps into the dead end of McDonald, who stuck the tackle. He's holding the ball.
No problem with that one, Jace. Absolutely perfect tackle there. Had to be made. Carlton were out and gone.
Find the way forward. That's not 15, so no favours for Logue, who's stuck with a problem. And that really should have been holding the ball. They take great pity on the player if he can just look confused enough that it wasn't 15. No effort whatsoever made to get rid of that.
Well, he had the same amount of time as Patrick Cripps, didn't he, really?
Yep. So White's tackle goes unrewarded. Sherry over the top of Cripps. Davies Uniac, just a false handle. Sheasel tosses it forward. Got to be one underfoot. Zerha's got a mind for it. Tried to get up to Curtis. They bumbled it together. Pulled in underneath. That's how the umpire will see it. That's holding the ball against the Blues.
Yeah.
It was just dragged under by Sard. Ump had the right view.
Curtis, he couldn't pick the ball up, and Curtis actually stood on the footy. You very rarely see it. Sard dragged it in. Nothing pure about this play. They'll take it.
2 goals already in the opening term for Paul Curtis.
Yeah, he dived over the top and jumped on the footy. That's a really good decision from the umpire.
Multiple goals in every game, as Hutto referenced at the start. Already filled that bill. Curtis guides it on its way, hangs on. He's through for his third. Kangas sticking around.
So 5 kicks, 3 goals. It's a good efficiency rate for Paul Curtis. He's the one that looks most dangerous in that attacking 50. He finds space. This is just a classic case of, well, if you're going to dive on it, I'll wrap my arms around you, hold the ball in, because it's your responsibility to get it out, Adam Saab. You can see he climbs over Zerha, grabs the ball underneath his body. It's his responsibility then to see that ball out of the contest. It's a really good decision from the umpire, and importantly, Curtis is able to finish a much-needed goal again for North Melbourne, just to keep in touch.
He's kicked 15 goals for this season. Another dead eye at the Kangaroos. And boy, do they need them to be accurate, Jace. If you're only going to go in 13 times, you need to be kicking straight. But most of his goals, pretty much all of his goals bar one, have come from the corridor.
So the Roos have 2 to Carlton's 1-1 for this second quarter. Sherry gets it down, but only to Walsh. Out of zone umpire. He sent a free kick to Wardlaw. So suddenly the Blues have to get organised. There's a lot of finger pointing going. The key Roos hold their position deep and wait for the right moment. A bit of pushing and shoving, a block so that Larkey can come to the footy. And Darling, and plenty of Blues in defence. Haynes, so quickly onto the boot, and Curnow able to channel it out to Hewitt. Durden is pacing back to goal. He can see his third goal. And now he'll get the chance to execute.
Well, that's not the inside 50 that you want. The big high bomb from the centre square, and it lands 40 out from goal. The big spoil, quick turnover, and they had no answer. He was the one that bombed it in, Wardlaw. He was also the one that was desperately trying to chase down the rebound when it came. He just couldn't get there in time, and a quick response here.
As we mentioned, a career day last week. He might have grander plans today, but it's a couple of misses in this quarter from Curnow, now Durden, so the punishment could have been much greater.
It's been a high-pressure quarter. North Melbourne 197, but Carlton 212. So, as I said, every time North get it, they are under enormous heat.
Daniel searching for the right targets. Take the yards on the near side and see if Larkey can get a fly. Haynes got a hand in. Walsh underneath. Carroll breaks a tackle. Gives it off to Akers. Searching for the target. Motlop. It's going to drop in short. Fisher didn't mark.
You've got to be marking that. Even if you mark it and you get scored from behind, the ball's going to go out of bounds. That's just a wrong decision there from Zach Fisher. Maybe just feeling the heat because it is a high-pressure game.
Gives the Blues a look inside 50 at the stoppage. Young and Darling to form up. Darling favoured by the shallow throw in, but Hewitt doing the work at the source. Akers shoots it around Shearer. No direction about it. It's out of the foot.
So just good pressure from North, giving a little bit back. I just heard the numbers from Dicko. It's a high-pressure game on both sides. And they need to maintain this, North, as they try to work their way back into the contest.
Yeah, just got to find some targets, Chase. They've only taken 20 marks for the game. Nothing easy, everything long down the line.
Yeah, and that hasn't been working for them, has it?
More of the same from Simpkins. Zerha with the early leap. Can't mark. Darling's kick could go anywhere through the middle. Ump had to get out of the way. It got away from Cottrell, but not McGovern, who seems to be fine now. Kicks well to Fogarty. Has Akers waiting to unleash to his left. Curnow just holds, and now works to the front. Was he interfered with? Lowe gets away with it. Off to McDonald. High ball again. Young. And Zerha's timing was absolutely perfect. Overtures in the middle of the ground. It took a while to kick it by then. McGovern had predicted successfully where the kick was coming, so he can thump Carlton deep.
In it goes again. Curnow trying to get a run at it. Couldn't. Defensive spoils are made toward goal. Fisher's got pressure. Uses it to O'Sullivan. Finds the way up to Davies Uniacke. He'll clear the defensive area for Daniel. So this time the Kangas find a target on the way out. Can they turn that into 1 or 2? Wardlaw presents.
I don't want a quick kick here. Wiedering's all on his own down there, just playing the spare role.
So no real links in the chain for Wardlaw to work with. He's changed his mind once or twice, and there was pressure as he gets the kick away. Larky and Zerha, his best hopes in the air. Walsh underneath. Silvani has plenty of pressure around, able to release it though. Carroll finds the way out for the Blues. North have got the numbers up the line. O'Sullivan couldn't quite mark though. Shearer trying to put White into space. McDonald's been good with his pressure in this term. And he gets... The Blues get knocked off for insufficient intent with a paddle straight to the boundary.
That's the kick. They have to go lateral before they go forward. Because Carlton is just sitting back.
Well, Combin's kick hangs and Akers claims the mark and he's been played. And now it's 50. It's such a fine line. Tucker shakes his head.
It was the kick from Coleman that put him under the pump, wasn't it? He had the short one if he wanted low, he decided to go long, but he sat it up for an eternity. Way too high.
Freo, Tucker and Akers. So he might enjoy it just a little even more. Blake Akers walks in and puts it through.
Just some ball use issues for North Melbourne. Every time they go for an aggressive lateral kick or corridor kick, it's not coming off. This was a combination of decision. The kick's on if you drive it low, but not if you sit it up that high. And you see Logue to the left. If he wanted to go backwards, he could have. And then the 50's given away, and they just put a goal on a plate for all the work they've done. They've made no ground.
Just his second goal for the year, Blake Akers, but he's a regular goal kicker, as we've seen at pivotal moments for Carlton.
You just wonder whether they've got to put Sheasel to half-back just to get some quality back there and some know-how, try and find some uncontested marks on the way out.
Conceding big scores has been one of the central issues for North, and it's 59 points just beyond the halfway mark of the second term. DeConing favoured by the bounce. Hewitt gets to work, gives it to his ruckman. Up now to Chera, links it on to Cottrell. Gets the kick to 4-4. Durden's the targets. Ball stays in dispute. Logues overwhelmed.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Blues forward pressure. Grant the second opportunity. So Darling's job to keep DeConing at bay. Crafty tap. Williams pries the kick forward. Young fist in there to keep it away from him. O'Sullivan didn't do Logue any favours. Durden's got a mind to get back on this. He's got support from Fogarty, so the small forwards all doing their thing. Good smother from Tucker on the kick of Control.
You go for end zone, I'll take his mid. Tom!
It's been unrest in the North camp, isn't it? High hopes today.
Yes, it's threatening to blow out again, isn't it? Big time. Curno's having a break at the moment, so Logue enjoying a little bit of respite, but only in personnel. The footy's down there again. Stevens hacks it out of there and hopes for the best. Silvani at the best vantage point. It's a clever tap. Zerha, Holmes lost his footing, regained it. Cottrell, it might still work out for Carlton. No. Zerha seems like he's redoubling his efforts at the moment. He needs to in the second quarter.
Tom, Jack!
So Darling versus DeConing. Rackhead should be with Carlton here. Barely a handball out. McCurch tries to wade through. Gets out the other side. Parker for Wardlaw. Now a chance. Well, still not really going forward. Stevens. Fans out across. That's better. McCurch takes it and he's off. The give to Tucker to the inside. Oh, the path was clear and it's just the required distance. And Simpkin takes the mark and he knows how critical this kick is.
He's going to kick a captain's goal, isn't he? And that was one of the few times they've been able to hit that corridor kick. A little one inside that released McCurcher and then a hand pass. Even though they ran into a little bit of trouble because Haynes was sitting back looking to sweep, they were able to find the target and Simpkin just has to kick the goal.
Yeah, Stevens was the kicker back into the corridor. It was a neat kick.
Little mutter under the breath. 24 disposals and 2 goals last week. So he knows he can do it. He knows he has to. There was never online and never a chance.
32-point margin. Saad gets it moving quickly for Haynes. An overlap run from Silvani. So into flow by the umpire's call. Silvani knocked off his kick by Simpkin. Hewitt on the tidy up. Silvani round the boundary. Created for Akers. Now Cripps is going to have 2 to beat. Still enough to at least get it to ground. North underneath. Parker, risky. Sherry, hot. Got it away. Daniel spreads into space. Tucker running the wing. Feeds it up now to Powell. Works it on. Zerha has a look at the deep targets. Larkey or Home. Home! Zerha with a long ranger.
I mean, it was a good finish in the end. I was desperate to see someone actually hit up at Zerha because everyone wants to run back and get that deep kick over the top. And eventually 1 or 2 did. But by that stage, he'd got himself aligned with the goals and thought he could actually kick it. Larkey was looking for the long one over the top. So he just takes his time, squares himself up. That's a good kick off a couple of steps.
He's been trying to lift his team this quarter. Cam Zerha, that's the best way to do it. There's some danger in that initially, but they get that.
It was a really good lead from Costanti. Look at this lead across the bottom right there, Jace. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, because I think that's the easiest kick there is, Kingy, and we don't see it used often enough.
So they've won the quarter, 3-1 to 2-2. Can they build? That's Carlton out of the middle, storming forward, Cripps. Indifferent kick inside 50. Daniel had the first play, then Motlop. And now this is Walsh. Calls it back for Durden. No mark to Tucker. McDonald to Parker. Can they break? Stevens a floating ball. Parker knew not to take it. Same applied for Fisher and it breaks down. Carroll's been impressive in this quarter. He's besieged here by Simpkin. Goes again and prevails to Sard. Good start off the wing. White to full forward, a genuine one-on-one deep. Core against Williams, got it to his own advantage, turns back to goal, but his kick didn't match the effort. It's through for a minor, or is it a mark? I might have to check.
I don't think he fumbled it, so I think that was a pretty easy decision.
I believe it's Mark. Please take the ball as control of the customer. He's up in his...
Don't care for it.
Please confirm his control before the line.
Review underway.
You'd love to see the goal umpire just back his decision.
If you complete look at these angles and consider ball control before crossing the back of the line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Just on the forward half, intercepts 2 boys, North Melbourne 4, Carlton 12, so they're turning up the heat, putting the real pressure on North.
It's a slow play for North as a result. Stevens makes the lead into the back pocket.
Outside 5.
5.5 to do something about it. 26-point deficit. And the most recent goal off the boot of Zerha. Daniel with the decision to make. It's long down the line. Darling and Silvani. De Koning arrived. Cleaned up Darling and the footy. Throw it in.
Tom, Tristan.
Tags back in, heads down forward. Wardlaw right to the coalface. Ruckman back up a long way. Hewitt gets to work underneath. Wardlaw got him high. There's nothing subtle about Wardlaw. Sard on the overflow. Uses Walsh. Let's look at the build. Let's have a good look at Hewitt. Hasn't given it initially. Still might. And does. Let's commit their numbers back.
The ruck battle is fascinating at the moment. De Koning smashing Tristan Cherry. He's trying to come back, but he just looks too strong for him at the minute.
Haynes on the switch. McGovern has some time to assess what's up ahead. Dinks the kick for Ollie Hollins, who marks and bounces on. Gives it away to Carroll. McGovern on the follow-up. Not without a hope. He's left it short. And Condon in the van.
Steadfast down back for the moment, North Melbourne. Condon.
Outside 5.
McDonald. No longer the co-captain, of course. Luke McDonald.
They desperately want to come inside, but Carlton just owning the corridor here.
Core, as Dicko said, nowhere really to go. Must have been a kick to kick with McDonald. Seconds tick by.
bench players have got to work hard to switch the ball side to side until something opens up.
Tried to tailor the kick for Wardlaw. He got a shove against
Darling down the line if he goes quick.
15 to Parker, and then to Sheasel. The run from behind from McKercher. Darling's still on offer. He's got grander plans. He's got Curtis in mind, or can stand here if it hits the ground. Carlton defenders has other ideas. McGovern to Carroll, prepared to take the kick. To Elijah Hollins. Great to see him back. Just last moment, tried to adapt that kick. Get out of trouble, although Deconing up against the boundary line. I think the Big X will enjoy that as he had the opportunity. Had a bit of a free hit there to take him to ground. And they could laugh about it this time. 3.5 to go in the second quarter. The Blues kicking the last 5 of the first quarter to set up this 26-point lead.
Rucks again involved. Sherry clean. Wardlaw bumbled it forwards. Tucker worked off it initially. Sheasel put his head in the hole. Daniel Wardlaw trying to find his way in the clear space. McKercher got knocked off, and Elijah Hollins won the hard ball. Williams and Hewitt. So Carlton win the duel. Young set himself. Curno's arriving. Core had best position. Has to get rid of it quickly and does. Davies Uniac with a chance to pilot the course. He's gone for Tucker. And a couple of inboard runners, but held up sufficiently on the mark.
Can't blast this inside 50. Just playing the Carlton hands.
Blasted inside 50. Darling moved the pack. Legally. It did look like a big shot.
Just too predictable, Jason. They've got to find some intermediate targets and work the ball to the launch zone, 50 to 70 from goal, or bring it back into the corridor. The long bomb's not working.
Haynes stays on the skinny side. Curnow. Core made the spoil underneath. Hewitt gets to work. Inboard to Williams. Wanted the link-up run, though, didn't give it to Walsh. Instead, fans across the ground. Fogarty has a look at the open setup. Charging out on the lead for him is Akers. Spoil made over the top. Lowe did well. Gathers underneath. There's a bit of ground. McKercher offers support. That's an important kick. She's all onto the awkward ball. Just as awkward inboard. Wardlaw links it up to Fisher. Gee, they'd like some clean run here. Sherry. Darling's the target. Worked Haynes underneath. Doubles back onto it. Darling pulls the kick inside.
Good kick from Tristan Sherry in there. Took the ruckman to actually deliver a ball out into space. Get it to the advantage of Darling, who's able to hold his man under. As we see Zach Fisher coming on very slowly. Does not look to be moving well.
Hamstring Dicko, do you think?
Yeah.
Game 299 for Luke Parker. He's seen it all in the game. 3 goals as a Kanga so far. Well, his team would dearly love this. And Luke Parker will provide a couple in a row to make it a little more manageable. Down by 20 points.
Sometimes the game becomes about little surges. And we saw Carlton do it at the end of the first term. Really dominated the last 7 or 10 minutes and piled on the goal. Maybe they can just get one more before half-time North and go to the main break full of momentum. I just loved the kick there. It wasn't perfect, but it was to the advantage of Darling. And then you can't help but find Parker inside.
The problem for the Kangaroos is that every time they score a goal, it goes back to the middle. It's 11-3. Centre bounce in favour of Carlton. They are being assaulted there. They've been fantastic at their centre bounce work. Hewitt leads the way. Chera's been terrific, but the ruck work is supreme from TDK.
So Zach Fisher, as you mentioned, boys, so went the handball, then went to take off again and ping, hamstring. So Zane Durs will come into the game.
Thank you, Dicko. Out of the middle, and it's Deconing's turn to put the big tackle on. It's a frustrating day against his old team. Looks like it's ended.
Tristan, back in this way, guys. Let's clear it out.
Critical 50 seconds here late in the first half. And Hewitt, who's had 9 clearances and 21 disposals, Wardlaw copping it from Cripps. What a stand between those two and the footy.
Back this way. Tristan, Tom.
That looks to be the moment. The ping that Dicko talked about. Hewitt again. If he doesn't find the footy, it finds him.
George. Thank you.
He's up to 21,
Yeah.
George Hewitt. So that's a fair half of football, isn't it? You add 9 clearances to his work.
Taps that one forward to Williams. Speculative at best with his handball. Hollands constructive to Akers off the left boot. He trusted it, not sure he should have. Young, he still could have gone back to Akers instead. He kicked and hoped. Hollands took it from Fogarty. Motlop, they're waiting for the right kick. It could be this one. No, it's not. De Koning. It's a high ball. Cottrell. Stanty, and it's over. He's able to get it to relative safety with 7 seconds left. Oh, look at that. Peter Laddams will be watching on, enjoying that. 9 seconds here. Kangaroos defence on red alert. De Koning does his best to get the ball, and then the big dive forward.
It's slow getting up, De Koning.
And the siren sounds, so North finishing strongly, and they really needed to. So they're able to kick 4 goals, 1 to 2-2 for the quarter, and cut the margin back to 20 after Carlton, led by that man in the ruck, looked to be dominating. Let's go back to our panel of experts, led by Gary Lyon.
Good on you, Hutto. Great call. Interesting game. 7 goals to 2 opening quarter. Absolutely outstanding, the Carlton Football Club. Clearance dominance everywhere. The Kangaroos with a bit of spirit. Interesting to see Luke Parker in the middle there. 4 goals to 2 in the second quarter. We've got a game on our hands, boys. Back to 20 points.
Yeah, the boys will get to Carlton, but I'll talk about North Melbourne. There's a North Melbourne team with George Wardlaw and a North Melbourne team without George Wardlaw. Bucks?
Yeah, I think it's beast of the honeypot. Like both teams are getting dragged into the contest. They've lost shape a little bit in offence and defence. We're just seeing masses of players around the ball, which has made for a high-pressure, high-contest game.
It seemed like there was less mistakes from North Melbourne, which kept them in the game. They won the quarter. They shut down Carlton's marks, so 27 marks in the first quarter from Carlton, only 13 in the second quarter, which then allowed the pressure to ramp up.
There's some spirit in the North Melbourne Footy Club. At 7 goals to 2, I thought Carlton absolutely blew them away, had the game in their hand, and I think a North Melbourne team of yesteryear might have just folded. They fought hard in that second quarter, 20 points the margin, game on their hands. Going to take a break. These boys will unpack it and give you a thorough analysis of the first half. We've got plenty of footy here on this Easter weekend. Straight after us, we've got the West Coast Eagles. They need to show a little bit, boys. Big television audience. The whole of Australia will be watching, and the Bombers are up and about. They've been able to string a couple together. So up after Carlton North, West Coast Essendon, but back after the break. A wrap for the first half.
All right. The boys will be back after the break, give you a bit of their analysis of the opening half. But that was a lot better quarter by North Melbourne. Winning the quarter 4 goals, 1, the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Carlton could only manage 2 goals, 2. So big positive signs for North Melbourne. There we go. I tell you what, they did work very, very hard. Work very, very hard in that quarter, North Melbourne. So we are back to 20 points, which is fantastic. 31 points at quarter time, back to 11. Is North Melbourne starting to get the game on their terms? We'll just have to wait and see. We just need to wait and see what Carlton turns up in the second half of this game. But it should be a great game. Hopefully North Melbourne get back into it. As I said, they look reasonably good. They just need things to click for them. And I think North Melbourne can progress a little bit better this year. We do like the run on, of course. Wardlaw, as they were saying there, he's a star player there for North Melbourne. Does make a huge difference in their team. North Melbourne had a few chances going forward, couldn't quite find the target, but all the same looked impressive, and their pressure gauge certainly ramped up in that second quarter. All right, let's pop over now. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. Should be a few more there for North Melbourne. And as it says, Paul Curtis there has 3 goals there leading the way for North Melbourne. Cameron Zurhaar has a single with Luke Parker. Nick Lakey, there we go, good to see. For the Blue Baggers, Corey Durden and Charlie Curnow, the only multiple goal scorers with 2 each. Lewis Young, Zach Williams, Tom De Koning, Paddy Cripps, Blake Acres, all with singles. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the fantasy points if you play that game. George Hewitt going well on 76 points up until half-time. Mitch McGovern, 57. The rest under that. Disposal getters for the quarter. Disposal getters for the half, I should say, the first half. George Hewitt, the only one in the 20s. He's got 21 there for the Blue Baggers. 8 kicks, 13 handballs, 1 mark, 6 tackles, 9 clearances. Oh, well, he's having some type of game, isn't he? George Wardlaw, there we go. The star of North Melbourne. Equal top with Caleb Daniel there. He's a bit of a gun, isn't he? Caleb Daniel for North Melbourne, both with 16 apiece. Of course, Wardlaw with 5 clearances doing some damage there. Harry Sneasel up to 13. Let's roll down. Sam Walsh, a little bit quiet in that second term. I think he only had 5 touches in that second term. Luke Parker up to 11 for North Melbourne. Sard up to 10. Let's keep rolling down. Jake Silvani there. He's just on the 9, doing reasonably well. Paddy Cripps, a little bit quiet in that second term. 4 kicks, 5 handballs, couple of clearances. He's kicked that goal in the opening term just with the 9 touches there. We'll be back with the commentators right now, folks, and we'll get back to have a look at the team stats in just a moment.
We love these. And a one-armer, if you don't mind, from Corey Durden, who's having a bit of a renaissance. Had 2 fantastic games of footy. That is a super mark. At the degree of difficulty there, a bit hard to see first up, but this is half-time. It's
I thought Chief was a bit light on it.
Industry super funds when it comes to super. There's only one super to look for. That's Brownie, Chief, not me. Righto, let's unpack this game. Carlton absolutely dominated the early stages and all on the back of clearance, boys, which you two particularly are well placed to tell us about.
Yeah, it was Tom DeConey and George Hewitt in particular who were able to control the clearance situations, and they just went bang 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 early. I think that 4 goals or 5 goals from stoppage at quarter time, and that is that's Carlton's game. When they've been at their best, that's exactly what they do.
3rd best half in 10 years for clearances. 3rd best in 10 years. They're inside 50 plus 16. That's their 8th best result in 10 years. So to be only 20 points down at half time, I reckon they take that to the Kangas.
Oh, absolutely. Add in all the mistakes that they made in the first quarter. I think that was probably part of the game that North Melbourne got back. Only allowed 1 point from stoppage in that second quarter, so they were much better in that area, but it was on the back of TDK. He was dominant in that first quarter and first half. So, that's some work to do with Tristan Cherry at half time to try and reassess.
That's one thing, winning clearance, and it's another thing, scoring from it. So 25 points from clearance is a fantastic result.
Yeah, it is, and they were able to do that very well. I thought North responded though in the last 10 minutes there, but this is exactly what we saw. Like TDK moving Cherry away, who's a big-bodied ruckman and has created his craft and his status in the game off the back of it. It is, and then obviously the one that TDK was able to take out of the ruck as well. But I thought, and that's this one here, just worked him under, early body, and then to be able to get the kick under the oncoming smother. It's a fair effort.
It's great. TDK's been outstanding. What about Tristan Cherry? What's the message here at half time?
Yeah, he wouldn't be liking that at all. He's normally pretty strong at that. So it was unlike him. He was actually going well up until that point. And then from that point on, TDK really launched into the game. So, look, he's an experienced player. He's been a little bit down.
Take that personally, though, don't you? When he's a competitor, you've got to take that.
Oh, yeah, Clark might just grab him and say,
come back,
son. That again.
TDK enormous. So what about the way that Carlton have been able to move the footy? Hasn't always been a strength of theirs.
No, it hasn't. But I suppose 2 ways you can look at this too. North Melbourne ranks 17th in the comp for defending full-length ground movement or ball movement. So Carlton has been strong in this game at 30% in that first half, which Clarko wouldn't be happy with, but certainly Michael Voss would be. They're a bit more polished.
Yeah, we saw Carlton, against the Dogs a couple of weeks ago, do it early, and then and then even against Collingwood do it early, but not be able to do it late. Eagles last week, who were the worst at defending end to end, and North Melbourne are the second worst. So they've had a couple of free looks at being able to transition, and they've done it pretty well.
Harvey Norman highlights. We're going to George Hewitt. This is a man who's in fantastic form, Geordie. I mean, there's some big name players in the middle of this crowd for the Carlton Footy Club. We go to Cripps, we go to Walsh. I tell you what, he has put a season together, George Hewitt.
Yeah, well, he's the number 1 rated player on the ground. His first quarter stats were 11 touches, 5 clearances, 3 score involvements. He's continued on, so he's had made the 21 for the game. So he is a player that gets less attention from the opposition, but you've still got to put yourself in position to impact and be able to contribute. I mean, he's been the cleanest player on the ground, but there's been a lot of mistakes from other players.
He just does the basics well. He stays on the move around clearance and he keeps going to ball. And if he's not going to ball and to tackle, well, then he's putting himself in the first receive position. And he can go left or right hand, and he can go left or right foot. So he's been effective in what he does in that little 10 metres around the contest or clearance. He does his best work there.
From all that he's done offensively, 6 tackles defensively.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Always brings that, doesn't it?
It's a massive half. Have you seen the pressure at the contest? I think both teams have been willing.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially in the second quarter. So you look at those numbers there, Carlton, North Melbourne. Very rarely you get two teams up around the 190 plus mark. So that bodes well for the game, I guess, the intensity of the game, but it also creates mistakes.
It's a very different game to what Carlton played last week. So for them to be able to get challenged in this area, it sort of comes into their wheelhouse a little bit. But North have not been disgraced. Their last 10 minutes, they were able to fight back into the game. Their pressure lifted again also.
100% it did. Paul Curtis-King told us during the call, #1 rated target that converts targets into scores, which is a big rap, isn't it, considering some of the big forwards playing footy at the moment.
And I put on the table about the North Melbourne forward pressure, and he's their #1 pressure player as well. I mean, this was really early in the game. He was able to get on the scoreboard with an excellent finish here.
Well, it helps when you finish. That's the other thing. If you're going to be targeted, then you've got to reward the blokes.
They do that well. Look, I know against North Melbourne. They're very accurate goalkeepers. So Cyril speaks about Larky, but this guy's accurate as well.
He stands under the ball well.
He's a threat in the air, isn't he?
Yeah. Which I think is, quite perplexing for his direct opponent. You think he's going to be that ground level play, but he's able to fly and read the ball really well in the air. So, he's been a big contributor in this first half.
He'd be in there, not the Bucks can say it, but he'd certainly have to be in the All-Australian contention at this stage of the season.
This bloke won't be right now, but if he keeps playing in the manner that he has in his comeback game, George Wardlaw, then I'll guarantee you by the end of his career he'll have a couple of blazers. You mentioned at the start, Brownie, that there's a North Melbourne with him and there's a North Melbourne without him.
It's a George off, isn't it? Georgie Hewitt, he's dominating, and George Wardlaw on the other team. And some of the games I've seen him play, he's a burst player at this stage of his career, and obviously today he's going to be limited in his first game back, but he's just so exciting, so powerful. He's a bit old school. I think you'd like him to Paul Kelly, haven't you? A comparison there, Bucks.
Well, you just have a look at, scruffy is a word that comes to mind, but effective. He's just so good at winning the ball in close, and he's nearly impossible to tackle. And if he wins the ball in there, he generally finds a couple of metres to be able to make a decision. Some of his kicks, aren't that effective, but they get territory and they get the ball and the momentum going his team's way.
Always might do it on couch
take
on Monday
advantage of that.
But you have a look at some of his attacks on the foot. He's as good a trier as there is in the AFL.
He's desperate, isn't he? Like, in everything he does, he's just got desperation written all over it.
40% game time in the first quarter. That back 10 minutes in the first quarter is where Carlton took over. 73% that quarter. So they've already made their subs, so he might have to play big minutes in the second half, which would be good for North.
So as far as ball winning goes, he's as elite as anyone in the comp at the moment.
So
It's a big return,
the big contract's already gone out to LDU. I wonder if they've got enough left to lock down Georgie Wardlaw. Ralphie, what can you tell us?
Hello, Gary. As you would say, they've definitely got the sheets for George Wardlaw. He has been magnificent, and the Roos list management team knows it. So he signed to 2026. They're desperate to get his signature well into the next decade. He's absolutely open to that. So Roos football boss Todd Viney tells Fox Footy he's made clear he just wants to get his feet underneath him. He just wants to consolidate his spot into the side, but he is open to that deal. So LDU signed to 2032, Cherry to 2029, Sheasel to 2030. He will be the next big cab off the rank, even if they have to wait for 4 or 6 weeks to get those talks underway. Now, unfortunately for Zach Fisher, he has been subbed out against his old side as well, and his history of hamstring concerns, 4 of them now since last January, means that you'd imagine this is a month or so looking for the 1-2, grabs at that hamstring straight away. 2 incidents last year and another one in February there, so Zane Dersma will come into this team for the third quarter against his old mob. You saw the Gatorade towel go over his head. He was disconsolate. He knew he is out for quite some time after a torrid run with injury.
Good on you, Ralphie. Appreciate that. Frustrating for Zach Fisher, but opportunity for Zane Dersma to come on right now and make a bit of an impact. So it's time for that young man. Right for Industry Super Funds, boys. Interesting contest, as we said. 20 points, not insurmountable. Carlton outstanding early. What are we looking forward to in the second half?
Well, it's going to be a continued battle around the coalface, I'm sure. Who can be the hardest and cleanest inside and get it from the inside to out with some time and space. There's not a lot of shape in the game. It looks like there's 2 balls butting heads at the moment, especially in that last 10 or 15. I think North will get plenty of looks if they can be clean enough inside and maintain their shape outside of it. I think the team that does that best is going to be able to put the score on the board.
And the challenge for North Melbourne, I'm sure Clarko's putting on them, is don't do what happened last week. So last week they competed till half-time around the contest, dropped off significantly against the Suns. We showed that pre-game, so they need to fight their way through this.
And Michael Voss similarly is sitting there in his room saying, boys, we've 20-point margin, we've won one game for the year, so get moving.
Well, that's the challenge, four-quarter performance from both sides, and from both sides, and they haven't shown that this year. So I think the pressure will still maintain, and as you said, it's who is cleaner from inside out to get those opportunities going forward.
It's a big stage too.
Big stage.
You'd expect this stage to drive the players all the way to the finish line.
Let's hope so. Let's hope it's a big second half. We'll go back to our commentary team. We're going to take a break. If you're into the Formula One, the Saudi Arabian Formula One starts. Our coverage starts tonight.
All right, there we go. There is their bit of wrap up on the opening half. As I said, the commentators will be back in just a moment, folks. Branko, how you going? Welcome in. North come back a little bit. They certainly did come back a little bit in the second quarter, and they looked reasonably good as well. Let's hope, let's hope North kick the first 2 goals of this third quarter, get the game interesting again, bring it back to a tight margin, and then we can see what Carlton will do. Will they extend or will they fold? That's a good question. It's all up to North Melbourne. Let's just head back to the team stats now. We'll just have a little bit of a look at that. Of course, not a great deal in the disposal count overall. It's just Carlton by 15 disposals overall. There we go, 20 kicks, but North Melbourne just in front on the kicks. Inside 50s, though, North Melbourne doing okay. 19 inside 50s for their 9 scoring shots. Need to get a few more inside 50s there if they're going to make much inroads in this game. Carlton are getting plenty of chances, 35 inside 50s for only 14 scoring shots. So the backman of North Melbourne holding defence up reasonably well. 77-73, not bad. Disposal efficiency around the ground. A little bit low, just the efficiency inside 50, hoping that lifts a few more scores on the board. Free kicks, 9 apiece. So that's not too bad at all. Nothing much happening out there. Hit out 16-17, the 2 big men. Oh, they're pretty even, aren't they? 17-16. Clearances, Carlton well on top in the clearances, 26-13. Centre clearances, Carlton just dominating there, 11-3. Oh, North Melbourne copper the shellacking from the centre clearance. Stoppage clearances, Carlton on ball is doing the job there as well. Contested possessions, not a great deal in that, nor the uncontested. Turnovers, not too bad either, just a bit of a pressure game. So we're going to expect a few numbers up there as well. Looking at the marks for both sides, 36-40. Everything's pretty tight in this game, although the scoreboard says 20 points. Marks inside 50, both teams getting a few in there as well. 5-6 Carlton there, +1. Tackles though, defensive tackles, Carlton just a little bit more pressure. I thought they brought a lot of that, of course, in the opening quarter and possibly the first third of that second quarter, but then North Melbourne stepped up its game a third of the way through that second quarter and brought the pressure back to Carlton. 44-25 and tackles inside 50. Carlton really doing the pressure work there, what they need to do. You've got to apply pressure, folks. You've got to apply pressure in this game. If you don't, I don't think you're going to win a game of football. Perceived pressure and pressure alone makes the opposition just panic and doesn't allow them to steady the ship and compose themselves to hit the right targets, make the right decisions out there. But it's pretty interesting. We're only a minute away from the bounce of the ball for the second half. The third term coming right up in just a moment.
Well, one of the biggest duels today, David King, was always going to be the biggest men. The ruckman, Tom Piccone, Tristan Cherry.
Well, that's the jewel in the ruckman's crown right there. You can just get your opponent under the ball and stuff going. We know this coming in. There's the top 5 ruckmen in the competition for ball winning. TDK averages 7 clearances and 12 contested possessions. Tom DeConing is the number one man, 14 contested and 6 clearances. When those two are in the ruck against each other today, so best versus best, Carlton lead the clearances, Jason, 20-10. That is a smashing. 4 goals to 1 goal to the Kangaroos. He's taking control of this game.
He is, but we shouldn't put it wholly and solely down to the ruckman either. Some of North's mids need to get busy. Wardlaw's been doing an unbelievable job upon his return, but hasn't got enough mates getting busy around the stoppages. We shouldn't underestimate the first half that George Hewitt's had either. He's the second player, I believe, that's had in the first half of footy 21 possessions, 9 clearances and 6 tackles. That is extraordinary work rate.
It's on a 4-week stretch where there's only parallels at Carlton are Cripps and Kudafiti. So
that's reasonable company.
Yes.
I suggest he makes a move into the pay office and just makes them aware of that.
So the Blues trying to put a couple of wins together. So far, so good. Blues are today 1-5. Huge second half ahead. Super clash from Marvel Stadium. The perfect start.
Sorry, guys.
And an apology. So thrown up. Koenig got the timing right. Cripps. Davies Uniac. A little disorientated. Chera wasn't. Fogarty. He couldn't get ball to boot that time. Goes on whistle. Good tackling in there from Powell. Ready to slug it out one more time. Straight to Cripps. Just had to temper the kick at the last minute. Dersma on the ground. Good courage. And shoulder bandaged up. He was the sub to start the day. Daniel. Back to McDonald. Trying to find that left boot. He did. It was indifferent going forward. Double grab from Hewitt. And now he has his pants pulled down literally by the tackling Dersma. Early win for North.
How the sub use it. 2 goals, 1 in his first game of the season a week ago. Sets it up for Zerha to have a free fly. Couldn't hang on. Curtis works his way through. De Koning's cutting the angles. He topples over Sheasel. Needed a runner going by. Had to stick the tackle instead. All sorts of angles going on there. Didn't want to be Ollie Holland stuck underneath either. From the top rope. Sherry, clear access. Couldn't quite get it to Zerha. Away went Sherry, but only as far as Curtis. So turnover begets turnover. Now Stevens has it at centre half forward. There's a lot of humanity inside that 50. Stevens to the top of the square. Up goes Zerha. No mark. Darling got it out the side. Hewitt first access. Took the high tackle from Davies Uniac. Played it well.
And Hewitt pops up this time, and he'll have possession number 22 with a bit of space on time to sort things out. Down the line to Curnow. Logue predicts where it's going to lob. Dumps it back inside. Davies Uniac runs the full arc. Leadering against Darling. It's just a split second ahead on where the drop of the ball would be. And quickly identifies Durden. And now Carlton looking to get on the move. Elijah Hollands presents up ahead. On the bounce it arrives. That pass out to Walsh. Started on that occasion with the greasy surface and frustrations around the footy.
Ring rust there, wasn't it?
27 disposals last week. Sam Walsh 12 today, so not quite as prolific. Watching him closely where he was Dersma. He's on the move now as a bit of havoc underneath. Is that bit of holding on Parker? Hewitt dives on top and trying to sort it out his own way.
Josh Simpson just got his left ankle caught under that congestion there.
Sherry clean tap. Davies Uniac dragged the ground holding the ball. Couldn't get it to his boot. Carlton looking for their first entry of the term. Patrick Cripps sets it up short for Chera. Kick is going for Curnow. At front position and just enough on the reach.
And again, it's versus core. I'm just confused as to why they've gone away from low.
Centering ball for Chera, who's run into the hole.
Chera's poor defence. North Melbourne's players in the defensive 50 just all went to sleep. Just allowed Chera to drift into a hole. Curnow looks up and says, well, that's a lot easy. Kick from directly in front. We'll go there.
Why would you leave Core on Curnow when Logue was doing the job?
Adam Chera, this is disposal number 19 this afternoon. For the first goal of the second half, he posts it for the Blues.
It's a good assist from Charlie Curnow. He's got 2 goals, 3 himself. Probably thinks he can get a few today, but he was thinking team first, and that's a great mindset to have. You can see here, Lewis Young comes back, gets involved, trying to give Charlie a little bit of space, but he pushes away from Aidan Call, takes the mark on the lead, a good mark, good hands, and then squares it up, greatly appreciated by Adam Chera. Just sloppy all round from North's defence.
Chera, 19 disposals and a couple of scores. A goal and a behind, enjoying career high average of 26 disposals. Back to full health. Hopefully living up to the promise. And he was the target recruit from Fremantle. Locking horns with Davies, Uniac underneath here. And now the scramble. Wardlaw beats them to it. Got to his feet that time. But handball forced through the hands though of Davies, Uniac, Walsh. Brings it wide to Haynes, to Cripps. He knew where he was going straight away, but Blues went onto it with O'Sullivan. Cripps goes in a second time and squares the contest, and even better than that, helps to even win the free kick. Walsh charges forward. Curnow's already there, sliding ball instead for Elijah Hollands. Abundance of options for him. Plays it across the front, targets Williams. McKercher, no mark, so Williams says, I'll have that back. Where to next? Kept everyone guessing. It's a scrambly kick. And the Roos defence, McKercher eventually hurried kick. Hence, Silvani was well positioned to send it back and keep it deep in Carlton's attacking area.
Out into the hot spot, that slewed away more than was intended.
We love a talk, but maybe not there.
Just give him a look in the hot spot. He's just set up around it. 26-point leaders. Getting a lot of encouragement from the stands. De Konin's got a mind to do this again. Couldn't quite get into his boot in the fashion he would have liked. Durden flings himself back. Ball stays in dispute. Walsh around the Curnow. Caresses the kick for Cottrell. Spoil made. Constanti's there underneath. And Powell to Curtis as North hold up.
Well, the waiting was perfect. It had to be to return it to Powell. Held up momentarily by Cripps. I thought maybe it warranted a 50. To Tucker. And Hollands also with a bit of a flourish after he took the mark. So it's a very patient build-up. Floating kick from Simpkin down the line to Wardlaw. He was already thinking what he was going to do next. What was he going to do? He was trying to shape it for Curtis. Silvani over the top of it. Spinning is Hollands. He runs into a dead end, but there's some illegal contact at all about. And the free kick is going Charlton's way.
The ball used that final kick on the inside 50. Wardlaw missing the mark. Oh, now we've got a 50-metre penalty against Curtis. Just taking too long. Allowing the Hollands up.
So there's sloppiness from North. 50 that looked like 50, so that's an improvement. Hollands out into the pocket. Curnow got loose. Bouncing ball. Couldn't gather it cleanly. Stayed in. Comben probably wishes it had it. Great little toe from Curnow. White, just the second grab. Hewitt is there to lend a hand. North doing enough on the scramble back. O'Sullivan got stuck with a footy and he's holding it. No mercy for the youngster.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be there. I mean, Charlie Cooper's got to take that ball out of bounds, reset, let the youngsters down back settle. That's his spin move that's got him into trouble that time. Good hunch, good pressure from the Carlton forwards.
They've been relentless in their attacking 50, haven't they? They've kept the ball alive. It was Curnow on the boundary that kept the ball in. And then they hunted in the pack.
Will White, a great story of persistence to win his place in this side. And he bangs through his first of his afternoon and the second of his career.
So all that hard work that they did at the back end of the second quarter, North Melbourne, it's gone amiss. They've just come out expecting things to continue on without actually doing the hard yards here in the third quarter. A bit of sloppy ball use. They haven't handled the pressure. They've made some bad decisions. When they have had the ball, they've turned it over. Now they get punished.
Forward 50 pressure at 191.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
They've only had one better game than that for the year, but it's been a feature of their play this year. Second best in the competition at forward 50 pressure, the Carlton team. They've done a lot right despite not winning games. They've found ways to lose, really, in fact. So Michael Voss has a lot to work with. It's coming together.
There you go. Took the spot of the injured Jagger Smith, and they might have found one in the young man from South Warrnambool, Will White. Blues back to a 32-point margin. Their biggest of the day is 33. And they're on the hunt through Chera again. Relentlessly they press. Under pressure, Tucker made it cause issue. Back to Tucker. And now McDonald. A sturdy hand along left foot, but Silvani, will regret that. It's Darling in instead of going forward. A little curse under the breath from Silvani as it's out of bounds.
Thing is now 13-3 centre bounce clearances.
Yeah.
So they need to change personnel.
Well, you'd think so. I mean, just make the change for the sake of it, because you've got to set some standards in there regardless, Jason. Davies Jr. can't get his hands on it. Powell's been there 11 times, no clearance. Parker 11 times, no clearance.
Both sides with a spare behind the footy, so it won't be easy for either to go forward. Davies Jr. kept it to the flanks. Haynes, Darling. Did what he had to do to cause the collision. Cottrell, as they look to use their extra number on the way out. Wide kick. Walsh, line ball, in. Takes it. Turns Cheras off a down. Curnow just tells him to hold. Look at that for a swing kick back to the middle of the ground to target young Matt Carroll, who is able to collect the ball and then be collected by Powell. It's the mindset of Carlton at the moment. They are attacking on all fronts.
Just on the personnel, I'd love to see Zerha come through the middle. Bit of chaos, bit of crash and bash.
Sherry guides it down. Simpkin worked it forward to the ball and plays it well for Larkey. 2-on-2 from moment inside 50. Now it starts to fill up. Carlton scramble their numbers back. Stevens on the far wing. His job to find a target. He's set it up for the leapers. No mark to be taken. Larky's a chance underfoot. McGovern had other ideas.
Thank you. Leave it on the ground.
Just love to see Larky get that ball in quickly and generally.
Yeah, when it's 2-on-2 and gives a chance.
Adam.
Let's get another look. Sherry, Simpkin, Powell fired the kick with no space, no direction about it. And out on the foot.
Back to 9. Yeah. Outside 5.
Silvani, it seems, a permanent defender now. To Haynes on the switch. Had a couple boundary side all the way. Fogarty moved up at the right moment. Marks in front of Tucker. And a rare venture forward from Wiedering, and the Carlton fans love it. Indulges in a bounce. How about a second? No. Instead, the placement was aimed at Motlop. Hard work by McDonald. He's working overtime at the moment, as are all the North defenders. Walsh shows it to Tucker. Feeds it back to Fogarty. A high ball aimed up at Akers. Now Curnow, core in the right place that time. Back to Akers, had a step, had a tumble, it got big, very big on Comben. He's able to get his eyes focused back on the footy. Has he got a problem? Umpire waves him on. McKercher's issue. Fogarty, they hand it off to the next, and it's Hewitt who deserves a goal. The day he is having. There's Georges to be admired on both sides. The experienced George Hewitt lands another blow. And it's a game-high 38-point margin. Carlton Carlton's way.
They put the foot down early in the third term. I reckon this is the most horrible bounce I've ever seen a defender get. It's gone a million miles an hour along the ground and then just tracked at his head. You just can't do anything about that. That's unlucky, isn't it?
He'll have a Sharon stamp on his forehead.
Again, they keep it alive, but that's just a horrible bounce. No fault there. But again, you look at the attack around the ball. They just get numbers, the Blues. They keep it in there until they can get it out in their way, in their favour. And Hewitt's having some game. That's 25 possessions now, 10 clearances, a goal to his name. He is absolutely smashing it.
The best named medal in footy is up for grabs this afternoon, the Super Clash Superhero medal. And he's surely leading the way. A goal never hurts your cause. Young trying to get it back to Hewitt. Ball stays in dispute. Sheasel, Simpkin, Wardlaw. Chance for North to come forward. A rare set-abouts win. Larky's the target. Couldn't get hands up. Carroll in defence. Squeezed the kick away. Parker got taken down by McGovern.
Thank you.
Bucks coming from a long way away. Young and Darling tracked down. Darling soft-handed, but Zerha couldn't take it. Set up again. So the Blues have grown the lead from 20 to 38, the game high where it sits right now. North are going to mount any challenge. It has to start here. Darling clears the way. Zerha took them all on and pays a big price.
He worked hard to get free. Silvani was trying to track him. There was plenty going on before the stoppage. He knew what he wanted to do. He just wasn't able to make something of it. Once he got it, he went searching for the high contact. Probably a little bit there.
Yeah.
Probably two swipes of the cherry.
North fans certainly thought there was. Carlton picked their way clear out of defence. Bit going on off the ball with Akers and Larkey. Just trying to draw the attention of the umpire. Leadering accepts the pass from McGovern. Gets it out to the City side as quick as he can. White with the lead. Wardlaw with the interference. And he done well to get back to his feet. Stevens to Wardlaw again from behind. Haynes mows him down.
Gee, they had 2 free ahead of the stoppage. Needed the quick release hand pass and they were away North.
Instead, it's Carlton. Silvani. It's a half forward. Smashed away from low. Curnow nicely. Stevens' kick. The lead for Dersma. Got it back to Stevens, who keeps on coming. Sheasel. He had 2 to choose from. And instead, it's Jacob Wiedering that splits the difference. Zerha is furious. Claims he got a piece of it.
He got more than a piece of it. And he got the first 2 hands on it.
Wiedering with a straight face got it to Hollands.
But again, it wasn't a particularly great kick from Sheasel coming inside 50, and he's one of your best ball users.
You can sense the frustration from the North Melbourne fans.
It's all boiling up for them. Young's the rising target down the line. Thumped away by Dunn.
Yeah, umpiring for 2 when you're out of form a little bit at the moment, Jared.
There are kids present. We've invited them all in. Cover your ears, kids. The passion's overflowing. A team that's 38 points down. Darling out of the ruck. Out near Parker. It didn't favour the forwards and runs away.
Well, really important now for North Melbourne to fight this through. We saw last week against the Gold Coast Suns, fought for 2.5 quarters, then really threw the towel in. Just can't have that on a special day like this. We'll try and find a way to stick in this game and just claw away at the margin.
Swear Giles straight to that number on your screen. Sherry placed it down and ended up going himself. Just can't quite gather. Threw it again. Kangas scoreless in 18 minutes of this third term. Sherry's got Young to go against, so can he make something of it? Places it down for Powell immediately in the tackle. Elijah Hollands will win holding the ball. Sudden death to them. Hollands Hasn't quite got his touch yet in his first game of the season. Back from personal leave. Flops it down the line. Curnow can't get a run at it. Ball stayed in. Akers was awake to it. And so too Core, thankfully for North.
Free kicks this quarter, 8 to Carlton, 1 to North. Hence the mood of the crowd. McDonald, Simpkin posting up at centre half-back.
Jack Silvani's the spare down here at the moment, so if they go long, he's right in the line of fire.
Quarter Compton. No significant gains, just any handballs to McDonald, who's going to be under immediate pressure. Akers clears a few seats.
It's just decision making. It's just lacking. You give your man no option there.
Good spot to lay a big tackle right there in front of the coaches. Back into play. Sherry in front this time. Simpkin had one arm being nabbed by Cripps and they'll get a free.
Just Carlton's pressure, Jason. I think they're forcing him into poor options. All the pressure for the quarter. 215.
Big number.
Relentless, haven't they?
Even the Kangaroos at 181, that's above.
They're inviting the pressure, aren't they, with their decision-making at the moment. Captain to captain, Cripps misplaces the handball. Williams, you look ahead, he's got White, he's got Curnow, he uses De Koning to get it in the direction of White. Needs the bounce, got the bounce. And back into the middle, tries to kick to Cripps, he overplays. And McKercher, thankfully from the North Melbourne point of view, wraps his mitts around.
6.5 minutes to do something about it, North.
I know it's poor execution to go in the middle, but they've got to keep taking a few risks. They got to have a crack at that corridor.
And strangled at the moment. Core long down the line. Blues have numbers at it. To De Koning. What a presence he's proving to be. Straight back inside. Curnow wrestles his way to the front. Elijah Holland's down by Daniel. Should have been holding the ball. Sheasel is onto it. Gives it away to Powell, who works it around to Simpkin and Sheasel and Zerha. North look for some dash. A bit of line-breaking stuff. Zerha up to Simpkin. Oh, he tried to link it on, but he drew the pressure again. Chera made the spoil. Sheasel wins it right back. Ollie Hollands is stern with his tackle. Simpkin, Zerha, surely away inside. The deep target is Larky, he's outnumbered. Wiedering brings it to ground. McGovern mops up, Cottrell clears the area.
Oh, they're just lacking polish, aren't they? We can see the possibilities each time they get the footy.
Yeah, and it's their better players. I mean, Simpkin had 3 or 4 viable options there and blasts it long to an outnumber. That was the critical ball.
Carroll down the line. Oh, nothing for Core through the pack wells. Sheasel went to where there was help. Tucker tried to be creative. And that fell short as well.
I feel like the endeavours there's just the confidence to hang on to the ball. I mean, this guy, talk about playing with confidence. Soaring for everything.
Such a unique asset. Carlton's advantage just under 40 points. Sherry down towards Parker. Inside 50. McGovern first play at it. Larky, there's a bit of hanging on, and it's a free kick. Let's go to the Blues again. McGovern kicks to a one-on-one. O'Sullivan to Parker. Blues defence a little out of sorts. Not this man though. Wiedering just thumps it forward. Low had his jump attacked by White. Play on the call. So now the onus on him to make the right decision here. Knocks it out. Has he done enough? No, he hasn't. Carlton fans loving it. Back he goes to Cottrell. Akers has drifted down again. Instead, it's the opposite pocket. It's to Curnow. Free kick. Holding. Curnow. They're just rubbing it in now.
It sounded like a broken record, James. It's just the wrong matchup.
Yeah.
He just cannot defend the tools. There are options down there today. Combat's down there. But I think Logue's the matchup. He still persists with Core.
Stand, Aiden. Wait for my call. Yes.
2 goals, 3. Could have been a huge haul. Still might be. He's kicked his third. Charges from the field, knowing his team on a match-high 44-point advantage, and that is going to take some hunting down with 4 minutes remaining in the third.
Well, they've scored 18 times, Carlton. He's been involved in 9 of them, Charlie Curnow. He's such a presence to this football club, and particularly in that forward 50, obviously. Harry down there today, so he is the man. They all know where it's going, but you just can't stop him.
4 straight for the quarter. Curnow feasting again on North Melbourne as he has the last 3 occasions. 4, 4, 6, and now 3.
I think for North, it just feels like the world's closing in on them a little bit. Decisions going against them, everything that's going wrong. But it's basically a product of Carlton's relentless pressure. They're just not giving them any breathing room, and it's just relentless attack on them.
Scoreless in this third term, now through 25 minutes of it. Sherry the tap, good gather Parker, Davies Uniacke up and down the mine shafts. Back they stride, Akers had ball, eyes for it the whole way. A North free kick. McKercher. Can he find a target? He'll use it wide around the perimeter for Stevens. And it's just winded up and steer it straight to the opposition side. Got in the way of his own man. Walsh got caught by Sheasel, the ball up. So first and second in the queue on that kick were Blues defenders. Sherry, lovely. Parker, inventive. Not quite enough on it. Wiedering, not as sure-handed as usual. Absorbed a lot and got caught holding the ball.
I think that's a quality tackle. Absolute quality tackle.
None better at it than Curtis in the forward 50. Skirmish in the aftermath. They sing hallelujah in the stands. And Curtis with a chance to add to his 3 straight. Will surely be North's first score of this third term. Paul Curtis going to try to angle this in. Doesn't do the business. So behind, go down by 43.
Look at this tackle. I reckon there's a little leg lock here that just gets him to ground. He just throws the leg around him, and that's when the ball comes out. Interesting technique. He got away with it.
He's a career best of 4 goals. Paul Curtis is commanding in the air was Cripps. Mark not paid. Hewitt takes territory. Cottrell's just the man to keep it in and take a little more. A little runner along the line for Williams. Thumbs up. From Zach.
Thumbs up. Watching.
Day for the kids. And a day, it seems, for Carlton. His lead is 43 and threatening to grow some more. Young has gone back to the goal square. To Koning doing the rucking again. Taps it a little closer. 4 roos in a line. Work out who's going to do what. Powell to Davies Uniacke to Parker. Blind handball. Carlton are feasting. Williams at the table. Adds another. And flies away. In jubilation, he's kicked his second. It's contagious. They've kicked the only 5 goals of the quarter, and they look unstoppable.
Just getting everyone involved on the score sheet now. It's great to see some of the small forwards getting multiple goals. They need this. It's a moment that Luke Parker won't reflect upon well when he sees the review. That's an ordinary hand pass. Very ordinary hand pass, and he gets punished worst way possible. But again, pressure, pressure, pressure. That's what it's been from the Blues.
Losing's one thing, but the margin becomes a concern now. 50-point losses. Already had 2 in the 5 games so far this year, the Kangaroos, off the back of 9 last year, 5 the previous year, 2023. So it looks to be getting more year on year, which is building the pressure in the coach's box.
6-6-6
something sustainable.
Still bouncing. Bouncing.
Ultimate frustration as the rebuild refuses to show itself. The progress is hard to see. Koenig from a long way back, hooks it down for Shearer. Clean break to full forward. Oh, bumbled again, and Williams will kick his third. Feasting. The Blues are feasting, and that frustration being felt in the North Melbourne camp.
Oh, everything's coming up roses for the Blues. Zach Williams getting amongst it. We know that Durden's kicked a couple already. Now you get Zach Williams chiming in with his 3. So they're getting that ground ball presence, but it's getting embarrassing for the North Melbourne defence. Now they're competing against each other. I mean, this is a mark that should have been taken. They spoil each other, and unfortunately, it's the Blues that feast on the loose ball. Another centre clearance. Yeah. They are killing 14-5 out of the middle.
It's supposed to be a day of fasting.
Yeah.
They are feasting.
Well, that's 8 goals to 1 for stoppage now. It's a belting.
6 goals to 1 behind in this third quarter for those Carlton fans. A lean start to the year, but a win on the road in Adelaide. And this looks like a sizable margin that is forthcoming here at Marvel Stadium today. It can change the mood quickly. Koenig couldn't get the tap, but he does get the crumbs, and Chera sends him forward again. White versus O'Sullivan. And White gets to his feet first, into the middle to Fogarty. All the Blues standing tall at the moment inside the forward 50.
Well, they can smell it now, the Blues. It's a serious kill. You can almost smell the blood like predators. Just starting to swarm around their prey. And they can kick a big score here.
The only Blue to kick his first goal for the year last week. Lucky Fogarty. Certainly not the only one today, adding to their total. He comes up with the first blemish of this third quarter.
We spoke pre-game, Kingy, about North's propensity for conceding scores of over 100 points.
Straight kick, and that would have been there again.
It's only been 3 quarters, and they're nearly there.
58 seconds to absorb. Core, Comben. North part up the path to the far side. Darling has worked underneath it. Carroll the spoil out of play.
18 times last year, Jason, and 4 of the 5 games so far this year conceded
about to be 5 of 6.
Yeah, and that's something the coach put on the radar with Ben Dixon in the pre-game. We've got to defend better. Can't continue to concede 100 points and expect to be in games.
It's also hard to defend when you're losing centre bounce clearances 15-5.
DeConing was sharked by Davies Uniac, who uses Sheasel. North to half forward. Larkey presents. It gets clear. Darling with a chance at the back. Dispossessed by Walsh. Curtis fights the fight. Wardlaw found a way and steers it through for a goal. He's the glimmer of hope. Wardlaw on return has been profound. So the goal to go with his day's work.
You're right, Jared, the one shining light for North Melbourne. This young man on his return has worked tirelessly. He's up to 21 possessions, 5 clearances of his. He's now kicked the goal. He just works hard. He knows no other way. He's involved in everything.
They're going to try and manage his minutes today, Jason. He's played 60% of ground time. So in 60% of ground time, which is the lowest for the Kangaroos, apart from the injured Fisher, he's had the most disposals. I think that's damning for the rest of the midfield group in there. And their high draft picks, just wonder, is the application matching the selection at this stage?
First goal of the quarter for North comes in the last minute to Koenig. A third effort didn't quite have success as he threatened to take it away again. Last 10 seconds, Akers flips it up to Chera. A rare slight fumble, and they do lose the ball in running. O'Sullivan stripped of it, so it took a little longer, and every second counts. White nimble on his feet. And the quarter elapses after 33 minutes. And the majority of it was dominated by one team, and it was Carlton. They kicked the first 6 of 7 goals. It's not just been that man, Patrick Cripps. They've had youngsters like Carroll and just about everyone. Williams was dynamic in that second term. The lead is 50 points And after this, we head to Optus Stadium, and the team that Carlton beat last week, they smashed them as the West Coast Eagles. The pressure is on them to put up a better performance against the Essendon side. They've suddenly got that winning feeling. They've won a couple in a row, and they'll look to get ahead of the ledger with a win on the road. That's coming up on Fox Football.
Matthews back in the goal. All right, three-quarter time. Carlton get this game out to 50 points, winning that quarter by 30 points. Of course, 20 points at half-time, 50 points at three-quarter time. I think this margin's just going to blow out even further. North Melbourne, they just do not look like they have anything that can stop the might of Carlton today. Carlton, as I said, they're like a dog with a bone. They're going after every ball, and they are going to make it count for this game today and put a bit of percentage up. While we're here, let's just have a look at Carlton. Let's see what percentage they've picked up today. So that was Carlton prior to the game, 5 games, 1 win, 4 loss, 103%. On the live ladder, they now up to 10th. There we go. Look at that. It's about, what's that, 12% I think they've made in this one game. Up to 10th they'll jump to on the live ladder, Carlton. So that's great news for Carlton fans there. What was the... there we go. 6 goals won to Carlton in that third term. Just 1 goal won to North Melbourne. And Carlton got their kick and boot on in that third term. Good to see. That's what you like to see your team do, is definitely kick the ball straight. Let's have a look at the goal scorers up until three-quarter time. We've got a few on the ground that have kicked 3. And, of course, for Carlton, Zach Williams, Charlie Curnow have both kicked 3 goals. Corey Durden with 2. Lewis Young, Willie White, George Hewitt, Tom De Koning, Patrick Cripps, Adam Kerr, Blake Akers, all singles. North Melbourne, not many there. Paul Curtis with 3. And we've got Zerha, Wardlaw, Parker and Lakey with 1. Top on the table on the disposal count, Georgie Hewitt continues to lead the way on 26 with 1 goal, 10 clearances. A nice game by him. Adams Hera on 22. Of course, George Wardlaw, as I said, he's only played 60% ground time, yet he's the leading disposal getter of North Melbourne. I tell you what, the rest of the North Melbourne players, well, they need to follow in his footsteps. He's up to 21 disposals, and Ukanaki up to 20. Sneasel 19. There we go. Let me just roll through these. We're going to be back in just a moment to the commentators and kick off the final quarter here. We're going to see who's going to end up. Charlie Curnow up to 12 possessions, 9 kicks, 3 goals, 3 for the big Curnow. So he's doing a good job. North will win this quarter. I'm not sure if North will win this quarter. I think the one thing Carlton will definitely want to do is they'll want to finish this quarter off and finish it off strong. They don't want to take the foot off the pedal because that's what's happened in a few of their early games this year, and they've just faded. So I think Carlton will be definitely looking for a strong last quarter. I think they'll really want to dominate this last quarter and continue what they're doing so far, especially like in the opening quarter and the third quarter. Of course, North Melbourne won that second quarter where they brought a little bit more heat, a bit more pressure. It's probably the best they could do, but Carlton just too strong in that third. All right, let's get down. Yeah, Carlton should win this match from here. 50 points, but we'll definitely see what happens in the last quarter. I think all you can hope for with the North Melbourne is a bit of a fight. Keep their head up, keep doing what they're doing, but a little bit better. Get in, put a bit more pressure on, and help your star player out. And for Carlton definitely want to put the hammer in the wood, so to speak, and continue chugging along this quarter. They definitely want to come out strong and finish this game off how they did the third quarter. All right, let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter. It's the Blue Baggers by 50 points.
Really disappointing performance from North Melbourne. The doubts have to creep in, Kingy, to all and sundry, don't they? Every part of the footy club, when you've been down the bottom basically for 5 years, and you keep talking about the direction you're heading in and the rebuilding and all the blocks you're putting together, you need to see some payoffs. And we came here hoping to see something better from North Melbourne, not necessarily a big win, but certainly a really good contest. And unfortunately, They drifted right out of it in the third quarter.
Let's get down to Ben Dixon and Eddie Betts.
It's been such a complete performance from Carlton today. They've dominated all areas, but the forward line in particular, no Kevin Mackay. How is it going to function, Eddie? And the Smalls have stood up so far today.
Yeah, they have to go, and it's their pressure as well. They came in. Corey Duden came in last week, kicked 4 goals, 1, and he started on fire. Took a big specky, his pressure, chasing, tackling, and then Zachy Williams follows the suit as well as a small forward, going in there, kicking goals. So it's contagious.
For the record, Jared, I think you're cutting edge anyway. I know you didn't answer the question with Rose, but you're right. What are we seeing, particularly defensively, that's going to make North Melbourne hard to play against? And that's the gap in the game at the moment. If you're easy to move the ball against or easy to punish and stoppage like they have been today, then I think those questions are entitled to be asked, Jason. And if Alistair doesn't have the answers, well, yeah, time hurts all coaches in this position. You just can't continue to lose games to this magnitude.
I think one of the issues that's contributing to, and we're seeing it today, is George Wardle aside, there are defensive deficiencies in the midfield. It's a little bit hit or miss.
50-point margin in front of a capacity crowd at Marvel. Super Clash headers the final term. Nothing effective from the ruck. Cripps ran into Davies Uniac. Jarred free. Parker screws the ball to half forward. Sir Hart committed himself. When does he not? Dersma's onto the loose footing. Support from Sheasel. Looks for the kick-in ball. Davies Uniac well handled. Back to Dersma. On to goal. Yes. North get the first of the final term. It's the sub. Puts himself on the board.
It's amazing the difference a centre clearance can make. All of a sudden you get the ball in your forward half. The defence isn't under pressure. You get some numbers around the ball and you try and keep it alive, and that's exactly what happened. Dersma's the one that gets on the end of it after being involved earlier on. But the fact is, they were 15 to 5 down in centre bounce clearances prior to this first one. Finally they win one, so you've got one-on-one up forward. The chance to compete, a good contest there from Zerha, and then you've got numbers. You've just got to find a way of keeping possession. A good little kick back into the corridor from Sheasel. And then a good finish from Dersma. Unfortunately, too few and far between those sort of moments for North Melbourne.
So it took them 30 minutes for a goal in the third quarter. They're able to strike early here in the last. Dersma's goal. Now back in the middle. They hunt the footy again. It's just starting to get a bit chopped up in the middle there. Saad. Range, the tackler of Sheasel and Simpkin.
Just on your point, Kingy, so still going with Core on Curnow and Logues on Dersma. So interesting, that's right. Durden, sorry. Just an interesting matchup. I'm going to persist with it even in the last quarter.
Simpkin had a look inside. Curtis, the deepest forward, knocked away by McGovern. But Parker was perfectly positioned to win the footy and convert it to a goal. So they start with a surge. The experienced Luke Parker slots his second of the day. Much better from North Melbourne.
We spoke glowingly, King, about Carlton scores from stoppages. That's where it's happened early on in the fourth quarter. They've won some clearances, a centre bounce stoppage, a secondary clearance here. You get the ball forward, and you've got a chance with even numbers.
And again, it's Curtis in the right position front. So all that McGovern can do is basically spoil that ball forward into a dangerous area. You really can't control the spoil. Gives away a free kick if he swipes. Parker following up and doing what they're asking this guy to do. In real tough times, just steady the ship. He does that with a big goal.
Game 300 for him next week. Adelaide Oval against Port in the twilight on Saturday. Something for North on which to build. DeConing got it going forward one way or another and continues on. Maybe it took a fraction too long. Got caught between the devil and the deep blue sea as to whether he was taking the advantage or not.
See what, the tackle only just lasted long enough to be paid as well. The ball didn't come out and he let him go.
Logue on the wraparound didn't really amount to anything. High and hoping. Zerha ended up with it. Too high on the fend. Silvani has got the switch if he wants it. To McGovern initially. Oh, he has been paid. Just hold your breath on the 15 and completing the mark. Wiedering, would he dare go on another bouncing run? Akers, it's more his stock in trade. Haynes has worked from defence, and Sard wanted it over the top. Haynes has caught back in a way though. Searching for the right target. Akers stayed viable, feeds it out. Ollie Hollins. Curnow to the front. Smashed away from him. Good gather. Cripps, Hewitt, Curnow. Prime movers involved. Powell sticks the tackle.
Margin 38. Sherry guides for Daniel. Cripps was ready. Andrew Cripps just 14 disposals. His role these days just changed slightly, hasn't it? Taccone taps it down. A fumble from McKercher made life more difficult for himself. Powell does the same to Comden. Blues are hunting, and they are finding plenty. Charlie's kick 4. They go to the source. The collective celebrations from Carlton today have been quite something. They helped Durden to his feet. Perhaps a bit more salt in to the North Melbourne Blues that are plenty.
That's their 16th tackle inside the forward 50. They're a massive number. I mean, you're going low to get to 10.
How many goals have they got just from this pressure in the forward 50? And Colby McKerch is going to learn. If you play down back and you fumble the ball, you're putting you and your teammates under pressure.
It's a great question. 5 goals from winning the ball back inside your forward 50. That's a ridiculous number. That'd be... You'd be lucky to get a goal most weeks. I mean, sometimes a free kick or 2, but 5 goals today, Carlton, winning the ball back in their forward 50. Their pressure has been sensational.
To share the joy. So what's that, 18 in 4 games, Curnow against North. 6 and 3 fours, and his work might not be done. Hewitt out of the middle, no. Kick was smothered by Simpkin. Shearer feeds it forward, not a bad idea. Motlop to Walsh, clean break. Walsh has a look, pushed at the last, slides for the square. Curnow kept it alive. McKercher's turn to go. Released it a bit haphazardly, and Motlop might get the benefits. No. A push, so it won't be a score.
Really good chase down from Jai Simpkin on Walsh, who looked like he was streaming into an open goal.
That's on 5.
Charlie more interested in a fight than a free kick.
Yes. On to the call.
Just again, the Kangaroos just handballing the ball blindly and wildly in the D50. They're asking for trouble.
Well, just on that, Kingy, the midfielder's not even pushing hard back to help saturate and work the ball out. They're very lazy through the middle of the ground here at the moment.
Exacting kicks required, not quite delivered on the way out for North. And get the call that time against White. Caleb Daniel, premiership dog, to his feet. The Tours an approaching milestone. It's going 198 today. Back to the wing, off Larky's hands. Haynes restrained momentarily by Parker. Then a resurgent at the start of the quarter. Through shoes, Simpkin knew just the right moment to adjust his line of attack to Stevens. Was already thinking about what to do with it before he made sure he had it. So Core just heaves it forward. Zerha. Curtis is in the pocket, but the difficulty was getting it to him. So Larky might be a sounder option. He's got 3 Blues to deal with. It was too much for any man. What a player Jacob Wiedering is.
I just saw him on a cop the corky out of this.
Yep. He does cop the odd corky too.
Yep.
So Carlton have activated their sub, boys, so Cooper Lord comes into the game. Just come on the ground.
Hopefully, Wiedering can just walk that off.
Just clear out.
So just to further information to your point, Jason, the forward 50 work today, 5 goals from turnover and 3 goals, 1 from stoppage work. That's their 5th best return on record. That's 25 years of data.
Impressive.
So Sard, cheek bounce in the second. Pulls the kick short, and Carroll is there for it.
So Elijah Hollins, you can see, boys, has been subbed out of the game for Carlton.
Silvani and Haynes. Cottrell gets loose ahead. White would be the next target. The kick goes more centrally, straight to Lords. Immediately into the action. Steers his kick inside. Fogarty. It's going to land with Hewitt. He'll give it to Motlop, who's on the goal. Motlop gets himself a piece of the action. As Wiedering hobbles from the field.
Well, let's hope it's nothing too serious for Jacob Wiedering. He's been a star again today, but Jesse Motlop's the one they needed to see hit the scoreboard. They need all the smalls to have a presence up forward, the Blues. That's what they've been lacking in recent times, and today they've all got involved. It's been outstanding.
11 goal scorers, Jason.
It's nice.
It's a big number, isn't it?
But just to get all the smalls involved, to get Durden, to get Motlop, to get Williams, that's what they need, as well as having the midfielders weighing in, the key positions, kicking goals. You've got to have all your smalls.
Let's have a bit of midfield time again for the second week in a row. Blues have got Geelong next Sunday afternoon, so they'll certainly need Jacob Wiedering for that, and hopefully the return of Harry Mackay. Simpkin out of the middle for North. Under duress from Chera and Walsh, and the Blues win it again momentarily, but now Akers comes with the second win. Free kick advantage. Carroll off that left boot. And he can change things up with his kicking, and he does it again. Just tailored it beautifully for Motlop. So he's made a promising start, Matt Carroll, to his career of halfback. There's Elijah Hollands resting up after returning today. Jesse Motlop.
Well, he just can't defend at the moment, Caleb Daniel. He can't get away from the incoming ball. His opponent just, over the last few weeks, running rings around him.
2 goals, 8 coming in today, so he'd appreciate the opportunities from right in front. He already has 1 goal. We saw a few moments ago, and now another. Saw his dad play for North Melbourne and for Port Adelaide, Daniel Motlop. And Jesse puts it through. The margin is now stretched to 55 points.
Well, it's a big number now. I mean, it was always going to be a big number. At half-time, it looked ominous, but 18 goals, 114 points. I mean, you're starting to look now at what the response is to the Kangaroos have another effort in them. Look to have half wived the white flag down back. Very easy to score against. Just the 52 entries for 18 goals.
Crowd has thinned noticeably. Word coming back from the rooms to the Carlton doctor on the well-being of Jacob Wiedering.
Yes, they went down there with the right knee, so obviously still in the dugout. But Elijah Hollands, that was a tactical sub.
Cripps trying to fight his way through and was impeded by Wardlaw. Sard on the flyby. High ball to get after. Fogarty puts himself there. McDonald to spoil. Lovely. Williams will kick his 4th goal here. Has he been a menace around the sticks? The margin blows out beyond the 10-goal threshold.
.53 inside 50s against. They're just starting to look a little bit dispirited, like the fans. It's coming down too quick, too often, and the smalls are feasting because they're getting great contest from the talls.
And again, you hit the 120-point marker. You know, 18 times last year the Kangaroos conceded 100 points, but 8 of those become north of 120. That's really ugly. 4 of 5, it'll be now 5 of 6. The start of this year, 100 points, but the problem is now it'll be 2 of those north of 120. We're talking massive numbers. You just can't compete with anyone in this competition with this sort of defence.
Zach Williams came to Carlton with a promise of midfield time. That didn't last. He had serious injury. Became a halfback again, but might have found the right place for him in the front half. Still time to add to this burgeoning total. 19 goals the Blues have kicked. The margin is game high, 61 points. Sherry. Parker goes nowhere though. DeConey prod the ball in. Fogarty does enough defensively, so Motlop and White can team together to slide through another. There's holes everywhere down back. Lowe couldn't get across on the angle. And the joy in the young Blues is there for all to behold. Both on the ground and off. White's kicked his second.
Yeah, there's another small getting involved. It's happening for the Blues. Have a look at this, a little kick out of thin air. I think it's Motlop tries to go off the deck. All it does is go straight over the top to his teammate. And he's getting tackled as he kicks it, but when you're on, things work for you. And they've just been relentless. It's been super impressive from the Blues.
A 20-goal splurge.
Well, that's 5 in a row and in a hurry. They're actually going to stand up in the middle of the field and fight the fight of centre bounces here.
Wiedering back in the front row. It's a discussion between Box and Brains Trust as to whether he's going to come back onto the fields.
Carlton! Yes. Carlton!
Another centre clearance coming for the Blues. Lord's ball.
Come back on, stand. Play on!
Uses it a hand pass to Hewitt. No real momentum about it, so tosses it high. Curno's in a pack of 6. Cripps, will it sit from at the back? It won't.
Very nearly a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah.
A double pump. The umpires don't like that.
Young and Darling set themselves for the throw-in. A lot of movement underneath. Durden couldn't quite handle it. Lord run out over the bell. Blues have kicked 7 in the first term, then 2, 6 and 5 so far. And we're not even at the halfway mark of the final term. And trying to manoeuvre his way to the front. Wardlaw straight into Cripps. Did he take it on? No.
That might have been the end of a few North fans if it had been called. Young to the inside with high hopes. And Sullivan versus Walsh. Now Motlop and Sheasel. And look at Motlop streak away off balance. It's too much for him in the end. Core kept it alive. Cripps. A hat can hope. Curnow, Core, Cottrell. Still buzzing around. Carroll. Goal square. Akers. Motlop again. And the North fans are resigned to this relentless attack. Motlop's kicked his third. How big is this number going to be?
Oh,
it's a 73-point flogging now.
It's non-stop, it just keeps coming. But some of the decision-making, Aidan Core's got the ball under pressure, basically on the line between the point post and the goal post, and decides to keep it in play, gives it to a teammate under pressure, and then the ball just stays alive.
So this is the problem for North on this day, is the litany of fearful hidings. They've won once. It was a thriller to start. 58-1, 28-68. First Super Clash was at least moderately close, but 56 and now 73 is the heart of the club's absolutely in the right place as the Good Friday appeal is through $10 million. But it's where the performance doesn't match the occasion. That's the story for North again here. Young as bats at forward. Motlop was suddenly unstoppable. Their powers got hold of him.
Yeah, so they've kicked 6 goals, Carlton, from their last 7 inside 50 entries. I mean, you go normally 1 in every 4. That's a ridiculous number. That's just not fighting the fight.
Simkin tried and failed. Sheasel fed it out. Davies Uniac looking for the pass forward. He's got Curtis. The deepest target is Zerha. Larkey comes out on the lead. The kick's not much chop for anyone. Haynes just was able to trap it and get the Blues on their way. Silvani's kick on the way out. Fogarty, he's got support inboard. Sleight of hand of Lord. Kept it going for Walsh. Now Curnow's the target. He comes up to meet it. And then unselfishly fritters it away. It's for White to make something of. Ollie Hollands. This is a bit of a bungled entry, although White might still make it good. Where there's a will, there's a White. He's got it there for his third. And this has become sadly uncompetitive. Even with the stumbling and bumbling, Carlton came up with another as it reaches 79 points.
Well, this is what they call filling your boots.
Yeah, it's 13-1 to 3-2 since half-time.
Conversion's been impressive, but they had 2 or 3 opportunities there. The Curnow kick wasn't great. He was trying to play the team thing, and then the first White kick back in the corridor wasn't great. But they just keep it alive because they work so hard. And the kick that does hit the target is the last one. And Will White gets his third. They are all getting amongst it. The small forwards for the Blues.
I haven't seen a number like this for clearance. A ridiculous number. 75 points they've conceded. The North Melbourne Football Club from clearance, and their best players are in there. Their A-graders are in there. It's the 4th highest on record.
The margin is 79 and continues to grow. Davies Uniacke at least gives their defenders some respite. High ball for Curtis, who was prominent early. Williams has had to go back with the injury. And he's given away the free to Paul Curtis. It's been their only real source of goals for the day, with 3 to his name.
He's lost about 3 or 4 metres from where the mark was. He needs to drag him back.
Yeah, umpires pulled him back a little bit. To equal his career high 4 goals. Take something out of a day that has been so bitterly disappointing. It's not an easy shot. You can see by the kick it's short of the mark. Larkey. Sheasel. Sneaky shot for goal. And Stanty has put it through. Well, there was no margin for error there. Very little daylight. And he can't help but smile, even though they're trying not to over-celebrate the goal. Under normal circumstances, they would have been jumping for joy.
He's enjoying playing senior footy since coming down from Sydney. He gets an opportunity with the Kangaroos, part of the Parker trade. That's a quality finish from a tight angle. It's been a tough day for all concerned, particularly up forward to North Melbourne. They've only had the 37 inside 50s.
Not sure it's the day to shush the crowd after you kick a goal.
Oh, well, each to their own.
Something to celebrate, I guess.
They're 73 points down.
It's a big boost to Carlton's percentage. They go to 122 percentage points after if the scores hold.
We've got a free kick coming here.
That's what the mutterings are.
Yeah, none of their losses were big, Kingy, were they?
No. They come in with a percentage of over 100.
So it's a 666 infringement.
20% lift.
Second time, Young with a chance to drive it in. De Koning's coming at the back with great intent. It clears him. White shuffled it around. Durden caught by Dersma. Try again. Charlie's kicked 4 goals, 3. Edges his way to the goal line. Walsh ferrets away for it. Wardlaw disputes it. Now to go 1 and 5, Alistair Clarkson. Comben off the last line. Bangs it clear. Larkey has to win possession and does. Powell, nobody going by. Daniel. Just doesn't find the kick that he was after, and Cottrell might make the Kangas pay yet again. That's a lovely pass. And Will White's having a whale of a time, and he's picked out Lord. Share the love, the headaches. Really clear on Alistair Clarkson's face.
I would say a couple of Matty Cottrell's kicks going forward have been exceptional, and that was another one. And now the ability to share it around and for Cooper Lord to get an opportunity.
Kicked his first goal in league footy last week. Cooper Lord gets himself a piece of it. And the margin goes back to 79 points. Some sort of mullet that the Sabres brought.
Well, as bad as the day has been for North Melbourne, it's been a great one for Carlton, and all the things that they wanted to happen have happened for them. They've got everyone involved. It's been a team effort. All the small forwards have got amongst the goals. Everyone's got their share of possession. The midfield's been dominant. The defenders have been outstanding. You couldn't ask for a more consummate team performance from the Blues.
14 goals won since half-time. It's a massive number.
I think it's incredible conversion. 23 goals, 6.
Yeah.
Relief for that man. Back to 79. Sherry has laid 10 tackles. The handball to you. It's going the wrong way. They give up so much ground, which becomes problematic now. O'Sullivan cornered by Motlop. He's playing on adrenaline at the moment in the last quarter. Looking to really press this home. High ball floating into the pocket. Durden under there as the pack capsized. Daniel back to Sheasel. Comben fossicking for it down below. Getting more and more finicky and nervous. Daniel again to the line. McDonald suddenly emerged with the footy. And O'Sullivan, after another moment of hesitation, they're able to work their way forward. Dursman's kick though was well short of the mark, and Silvani falling into the hole once again. Eyes off the middle. Finds Chera, the late spoil. There's an infraction in the end from Zerha.
Stand.
So it will be Carlton's ball, it'll be Chera's ball. Possession 27 coming up. He's on his average.
To Walsh at centre half forwards.
Clear out, please, Dylan. Dylan, straight out, please. You're on the mark. Stand back here. Stand.
It's one of those who doesn't yet have a goal.
Clear out, Luke. Clear out, please. Thank you. Mitch.
What do you think? He'd have to do a bit, wouldn't he?
Clear out.
Could a yard or two.
He couldn't possibly have the shot, could he, Jared?
He'd have to run. He'd have to veer out.
He's a team man.
Yeah, top of the square. He'd want to be alert for it. Veer out, take the yards, and then slew it out into the pockets. Sherry was favoured by it. Durden gets an access underneath. He's taken over the boundary by McDonald. So clearly the Blues decided to keep Wiedering on the bench for the remainder of the game.
So that'll be a big story in the follow. We said the Cats next week to really prove their bona fides once again. On the throw-in to Koenig, to Hewitt, to Durden. Cottrell lags it up for Fogarty, trying to take a chest mark. Motlop again. They were ready for him this time.
Yes, please.
Motlop and White both with 3. Curnow with 4 as the main spearhead. The time Sherry is able to just lay it off to Stevens, off balance, needed a bit of luck. Kircher had none. Circled by Blues. Lord, the handball out. And a push in the back.
Yeah.
He's going to count.
Lord.
Yep.
Just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just doesn't look like there's a discernible system to bring the ball out of the back 50. How are you bringing it out? We've seen haphazard handballing, back into the corridor, really with no clarity on where they're going. Surge kicks. I mean, that kick was very lucky a moment ago just to clear the Carlton forward. They've been made pay by a pretty good team.
It's up for the 3rd time this season, the 20-year-old. Done it again. Carlton's lead expands beyond 80. It's a hard watch if you're a North Melbourne fan. They know how to wait. But how long do they need the patience for before this sort of scoreline is taken out of their football lives? Crowd of 46,373 today at Marvel Stadium. And the Blues fans that are in attendance are staying right to the final bell.
It's an extraordinary return from all those rotating through the forward 50 to get 2 to Lord, 2 to Durden, 3 to White, 3 to Motlop, 4 to Williams. That is just across the board perfect.
And forget giving up 100 points, it's 150 now.
Can't dress it up. Well, the whole football world was watching. And there's been an air of concession around this final term from North Melbourne. Hewitt wins another clearance. Young fed it up to Cripps. Sherry tried, couldn't thwart the captain. Lord just knocked it onto the advantage of Chera, got overwhelmed at the last. McKercher. Powell took a little while to get hold of it. Daniel softened the kick. Sheasel still has to go, and Powell was in trouble the moment it arrived. Williams sweated on him.
We've seen that so many times today where North Melbourne win the ball and then give it to a player under pressure with just no chance of being able to get loose or effectively dispose of the football.
Sherry gets back to it. Sheasel pries out a kick only as far as Sards. Thought about the switch, has been called to play on. Hasn't. What's going on there?
They're lucky to not be 50, I guess.
It's resets. Sard with the short to Cottrell. 9-goal final term for the Blues so far. To Young. They'll steer it for Chera. McGovern's running by. Kick goes inside the 50, and Durden, who started so well, looks to finish on the same sort of note.
Still looks a little bit too easy at the moment, doesn't it? And they're going through the corridor. I mean, they've defended the corridor. They haven't allowed North Melbourne to have it. When they've got the ball, they've found holes. They've taken kicks where they've been on. And that was far too easy.
2 first quarter goals in game number 50. Richard McGovern really wants to get in on the act. Durden knows he hasn't got the kick in him. He's trying for Motlop, who made the spoil when Darling got caught in the hole. O'Sullivan, not for the first time, in a jam. Ball it up.
Thank you. Patrick.
It's a huge score, 24-6. Stunning accuracy, really, from both sides. Simpkin. How's the umpire going to read this one? Bounce is his option.
Well, since 2012, so that'd be 250 games of footy, roughly. They've only conceded 150 or more 4 times at Football Club, the Kangaroos.
Hewitt looking to add more pain. McDonald has got one arm free here. That's all the umpire needed to be persuaded to call holding the ball. The pressure has not subsided. It's Durden again.
Can't be more impressed by what they've done defensively, the Blues. Their ability to pressure, especially, I mean, it's been all over the ground, but especially in their attacking 50. And let's forget North Melbourne for a minute. I don't care what team you're playing. If you put pressure on like this, you are going to have a good day.
A couple of their leads coming from the ground at the moment to Coney and Patrick Cripps. Enjoying the well-deserved accolades.
It's about 5 million on that bench at the moment on the Carlton line, but getting back to the forward pressure, 18 tackles inside 50. They have been relentless, Carlton.
Kick comes in long. McGovern got moved into it by Darling. Akers. Fumble over the boundary.
I can't recall a scoreline that's 10 goals to 62 points just from your forward 50 work. Your pressure has caused turnover, and they've scored 6 goals from those turnovers close to goal, and then 4 goals too from stoppage in your forward 50. I feel sorry for that guy. I feel like going down and just giving him a cuddle, James.
The contrast in emotion between fans is pretty stark. Throwing didn't reach the ruckman. Young, Akers, inboard, Lord, Sards. They're queuing up. Carroll will find the kick inside 50, and Williams can go back and line up for his 5th.
Well, he's having a bob each way. Colby McKercher, there's Cottrell standing just outside 50, and Williams inside. You've got to take the dangerous play. You can't just stand in between them and not cover either of them.
He was expressed from clearance, though, again.
Yep. He'd been goalless since round 2, Zach Williams, coming here this afternoon. 4 is the equal to his career bests. So for fresh territory, Williams for his 5th, not to be.
Pretty sure he knew that, having that shot for goal then.
Let's hope it's just cramp that he's feeling there. He's just holding the right hammy a little bit after the kick. Hopefully a bit of cramp for Williams.
Who's on the way out? Court gives it plenty. Sherry the prime target. Did Mark cleared a bit of a path for the handball chain. It's Tucker who wants to take the kick, but he changed his mind. She's off to the left. Anything could happen, especially when your target had slipped over. And Dersma, the mark is paid to Hollins, who came with a rush. Frustrations grow. Hollins in his near to main this year across half-back. Fattening up the numbers a fraction. His 14th disposal to Haynes.
Something about a victory when you leave a club in trauma. So if you can just leave the media at a football club on the way out, you've had a pretty good day, I reckon. This is powerful from Carlton. Well, 2 weeks ago, people were questioning Michael Voss.
Yep. Last week's win wasn't particularly pretty, but certainly smashed the West Coast Eagles. Today's been outstanding. Relentless. Showed no mercy to North Melbourne on their big day. 34 minutes into the final term. This game is running well over time because of the big total Carlton have amassed, and they're still searching for more. Bruce forced to handball him close to players that are already under pressure. Logue fired it out to Stevens, backing back away. And Cottrell chimes in with a little tap down to White. I thought he might have, but just ever so slightly misses the mark.
Daniel's going to rush it in right up the middle. And it's going to be dealt with again. Carroll knocked it down. Walsh. Constanti got himself at the coalface, but the Blues numbers win out once more. Silvani checks his kick. Parker gets a fist to it. Logue, he's got to get out of the bind. Claw's job to find a target on the way out. He's kicked a 2-on-1 against. Dersma's got Saab for company. The spoiler just a bit too far. This term has been played relentlessly in Carlton's forward half. 9-goal quarter. Searching for one more to finish it off. Sherry down to Simpkin, off to Parker. Blues have got numbers. Haynes used the body. Clever little kick off the ground by Darling to set himself up. Feeds it on. They're trying to get it to Zurha. McGovern knew that was the plan, and he shuts it down.
Lewis, just clear it out, guys. Lewis, Tristan, back in this
Last 22 seconds. More footy to come very, very shortly. And Powell has fired away. And that is the definition, the very definition of a consolation goal late in the piece. Couldn't be much later with only 5 seconds remaining. Does cut the margin to 82.
The most enthusiastic and optimistic of fans enjoying that one. Just a little glimpse of something at the end. It's been a long, long afternoon for North Melbourne, unfortunately. All the honours with the Blues.
Dicko alluded to it, that Carlton bench, Cripps, Curnow, Wiedering and DeConing.
Yeah, haven't they done their job today? Wow. Terrific. Star factor leaders at this football club. They carry a heavy load. They've done it again today.
Power down, job done.
Hands across the mouth, make sure people don't catch you smiling.
Final seconds to play out. Carlton's system seems in pretty good order. Sheasel wins the last of the chances. These are grim times for North Melbourne. A day built on a feel-good factor has a grim close as they fall heavily at the hands of the mighty Blues.
Without going running overtime, it's not far away from the opening bounce in Perth, so it's Carlton.
All right, folks, there we go. It was Carlton by 82 points. They stretched that margin from 50 points out to 82 points. Big winners. Carlton, North Melbourne had no reply there for the Blue Baggers in that final term. Although North put on 4 goals 1, Carlton put on 9 goals 3. Big victory there to the Blue Baggers. Well done to everyone. We got the poll right in the chat. 63% went for Carlton. Well done, Carlton. I think the commentators, they've ended because they're heading straight over to the next game. What we are going to present, folks, will be live in just a few minutes' time. West Coast Eagles taking on the mighty Bombers over there at Optus Stadium in Perth. Should be a pretty good game there. I'm not sure who's going to end up winning that. Be good to see West Coast do all right for a change. Well, let's just have a quick look at the recap of the goal scorers and the players' stats before we end the live and head on over to the West Coast Essendon game. Of course, let's have a look for Carlton. Well, Zach Williams, Charlie Curnow both with 4, Willie White, Jesse Motlop with 3, Cooper Lord, Corey Durden with 2, of course, Lewis Young, George Hewitt, Tom DeConey, Paddy Cripps, Adam Kerr, Blake Akers. That is the goal scorers for Carlton, or singles, those last ones. For North Melbourne, Paul Curtis kicked 3, Luke Park ended up with a couple, Zerha, Wardlaw, Powell, Larkey, Constanelli and Dersma were the single goal scorers for North Melbourne. Just recapping the disposal count, George Hewitt led the way all day, 34, well done to him, 13 kicks, 21 handballs, 12 clearances, wow-wee. He kicked a major as well, and caused best for North Melbourne. Harry Sneasel, 32 touches for him. They were the only two that broke 30. It was a good job, ended up doing rather well. But that was a fantastic game there by Carlton. I think all Carlton supporters will be pretty happy. It was a pretty flawless game, I think, from Carlton today. I think the one good thing Carlton supporters will be happy about is that after going into a 20-point lead at half-time, Carlton just kept on extending their lead out to 50 points at three-quarter time, ending up running away victors, strong victors, by 82 points, wasn't it? 82 points? 82 points. There we go. Free kicks. Bit of a discrepancy there. 17 to 29 in favour of Carlton. There we go. The hit-outs, not too much difference there. Clearances, centre clearances, though, Carlton dominated there, 20-10. Contested possessions, uncontested. Not too much in that, just plus 19 to Carlton and plus 3 in the uncontested. Marks, though, there we go, 28 plus for Carlton in the marks. Marks inside 50. Carlton did a great job there today. 16 to 5 inside 50 marks. That was absolutely fantastic. And of course, the tackles, Carlton definitely brought the heat down there. 23 inside 50 tackles, average 13. They did absolutely fantastic, Carlton. What a great game from Carlton today. North Melbourne put up a little bit of a fight in that second and halfway through the third term. Came out with the first couple in the final, but Carlton just proved their dominance on the game today. Big victors 24-9, kicking straight, 153 to North Melbourne 11-5, 71. All right, folks, thanks all for joining us on this game. We're going to head over to the next game now. If you want to join that next game or listen on into it, that'll be West Coast Eagles taking on Essendon, as I said, over there in Perth. That game has just commenced, just underway in the first minute. But we're going to end this one, and then we'll jump over to a new live for that game there. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. Congratulations to the Carlton crew out there. Great game. I think all round we'll be happy down there. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. Ciao for now. We'll see you in the next game.